Hey folks,
No, actually, I'm just gonna
There's our intro.
just
seriously,
being a con. Sorry.
fucking. I'm gonna leave that in. I'm gonna leave that in.
Oh
I'm
no!
gonna leave that in. Just to show with the bullshit that I have to deal with on a monthly basis.
You love
Oh,
Slag.
You slag. Right, folks, welcome to the latest episode of Pubcast by Dungeons and Dragons. Tom is back. There he is.
As if by magic.
I haven't figured out where he's going to be on the thing yet, so he's in one of these things.
That's where Wayne is.
Or over here. I can't remember what side it's on. So
Wayne is here.
we'll see
Wayne
what
is
happens.
here.
We'll figure it out. This is kind of like a
Jill is
dysfunctional
there.
Brady Bunch at the moment. So Tom is back, but Naomi is not with us, but they will be with us later on in the game.
Yes.
Because
Very soon, actually.
stuff very soon, hopefully. So, folks, welcome. We're going to go over a quick recap of the episode very, very shortly. But first, I want to give a shout out to our very, very good sponsor. They've been with us since nearly all of this campaign, and they've been phenomenal. Dublin City Comics, who, during all the bullshit that we've had to deal with over the last couple of months, they have been constantly there for everyone in the nerd scene. So they need to get a big shout out. They are still operating via their website at the moment, DublinCityComics.ie. And you can go on there and order anything from their store, and they will deliver it to your door. I recently got my own personal monthly delivery from all of their goodness, which included a copy of the book that we're giving away on this episode. So the prizes that we're going to announce the winners of on this episode, thanks to Dublin City Comics, they're going to get, one of them is going to get a copy of The Descent into Avernus, and one of them is going to get a copy of Explorer's Guide to Wildmen, which we will send in the post to them once we announce it and once they're aware of it. Now, the prize for this month's episode that we'll be asking the question of at the break is a copy of the brand new Icewind Dale Rime of the Frost Maiden. It's a bit of a glow on the cover, if you can see it there, but there you go. Thank you to Dublin City Comics for this. We are giving away this book in this episode. It is a fantastic book. Icewind Dale is a very famous location within the world, Forgotten Realms of Dungeons and Dragons. It's a great book. I think, Tom, you said you were running a campaign at the moment.
I'll be starting one in mid-November. I'm waiting for the next book that's coming out, Tash's Cauldron of Everything.
Which looks phenomenal as well. Yeah. So, I mean, the D&D have been knocking it out of the park with their books of late, and Icewind Dale is the latest one, and that is the prize that you will be giving away on this episode. And you will get the question for that one at the break. So, without further ado, thanks again to Dublin City Comics. Go check them out, dublincitycomics.ie. All the information is below. If you're watching this on YouTube, it's below, and all the information down there. All of our stuff is on there, so you can just click on it, go straight to their website, and check out all the goodies that they have. They also do direct orders as well. You can message them through social media, and you can ask for orders now. Given that it's coming up to Christmas, it might be a bit difficult to get certain things, but do reach out to them. They are still operating. They are still sending stuff out.
They're very quick as well, which is awesome.
They are very quick. I ordered my
If
stuff
they
on.
don't have what you're looking for on the website, ring them, message them, because they're there and willing to help.
Yeah, big time. So, without further ado, we're going to recap what has been happening so far in the campaign that brought Tom back into the fold. In the last episode, the group found themselves back in Terrace Moor, having to argue the innocence of some members of the group against accusations of being the cause of all the horrible shit that had happened. It came to light that Darcy Trevelyan was not what he said he was. He was an absolute shitebag and was pretty much responsible for a lot of crap happening and was trying to right some wrongs that he had done. It came to light that the kind of main villain of the piece, Dilas Koval, a drow necromancer, was responsible for a lot of the bad stuff that had happened to the group and to the world around them. It also came to light that the world around them is very much a weird and unique place, as in that it's a pocket universe that has been torn apart from the main realm through an incident that took place hundreds of years ago involving Dilas Koval, Darcy Trevelyan, and their group as they tried to quell the coming of power of a minor deity in their universe. It then forced this particular pocket universe to be created, and everyone that was in it and was born in it then are none the wiser of the situation until now. The group only found this out. While all of this was going on, the Viceroy, Arjun Carrick the Black III, turned out to be a kind of a, not so much a soldier, but a spy for the Escobar within the city of Terrace-Moor. A small fight ensued where his main bodyguard took up arms against Aratir, who basically, along with the help of some of the party members, took the female Goliath down, and surprisingly was given the mantle of captain of the guards, because that individual was the captain of the guards, and because Aratir took them out, took up the mantle. So now, burdened with that role, the following morning, the group awake from in their respective rooms, and Aratir is kind of summoned forward to the battlements because there apparently is something outside the city. Making her way with Codeine in tow, if I'm not mistaken, making her way to the battlements, you soon discover that it is a large regiment of warrior monks led by your former group member, Talasar Wynn, who looks very different to the last time you saw him. The last time you saw Talasar, he had been injured by Vestivus, the former king of Terrace-Moor, and thrown through a
the
portal.
best of us.
Yeah, and the best of us. Thrown through a portal, and as far as you were aware, left for dead. I think he had been scried upon at the request of the group by Dastus Trevelyan, and you saw him in a large tower, seemingly a prisoner of some cloaked individual. But now, as you see him leading this legion of warrior monks, he is healed, he is looking strong, and where his arm used to be before it was ripped from its socket by Vestivus, you see a prosthetic, what looks like a kind of a white material arm with runes engraved across it, as he sits atop a horse at the front of this, and he's gesturing to you as he sees you on the battlements, and then gesturing to the monks, claiming that they are there to help with the current situation. And that is where we are picking up in this month's episode. So, Aratir, Cody, and obviously Talasar are all together in this general vicinity, in that area. At the battlements, you are looking down and you see this, like, not so much, you're looking at about maybe 100 warrior monks, which is a formidable force.
Yeah.
100 warrior monks. At their head is Talasar on horseback as he gestures to you on the battlements. And this is what Aratir and Cody see.
I'm going to gesture back.
As you can see, I'm very much alive.
Yeah, I think, so we're obviously up on the battlements, so we'd have to yell at him. So I think we need to invite him in and catch up on where he's been.
Yeah.
Okay.
And catch him up on our events.
Okay. So,
So please arrange for that gentleman on the horse to be brought into the courtyard so we can have the chats.
you turn and the guards are behind you, and they're all kind of looking over the battlements in surprise and looking at you.
Yeah, I'm going to assure them he's a friend, as far as we know at the moment.
One of the female guards just kind of snaps to attention, and she kind of she's like, as you wish, and she gestures down, like, open the gates, open the gates. And you look down as a group of guards rush forward and start. There was kind of like not so much debris, but there was like large giant planks of wood pressed up against the doors to keep them closed, and they start to move stuff across and lift off anything that was blocking the doorway, and the doors, these large doors into Terrace-Moor slowly start to open. Talasar, from your standpoint, from where you are on horseback, you look over to your left, and you can see that these large doors, which were previously closed, and from your point of view, you see that there's large pot marks and burn marks and scrapes across them, as if somebody's been trying to bust through them. And you see them start to slowly move open.
I jump off the horse and I walk in, leading the horse and leading the rest of the group.
You make your way down across and into the main doorway, and as you get closer, you see it's a huge gateway. It's one of the main gateways into Terrace-Moor. And as you get closer to this large kind of like area, you see that the stonework and the door, the wood of the door, these large doors, has been heavily damaged, but not completely busted in. Large gash marks lay across it, big pot marks of where it looks like there's been magical discharges trying to blow holes in it, and there are craters and pot marks and scrapes and gouges into it. Clearly there was something trying to push its way in. You slowly lead your horse in, and as the doors are apart in front of you, you see guards lining either side of it. Some of them, the definite tension in their stance as they're standing there kind of at guard. Their hands shielding most of their offhand, and then a large spear in their main hand. Some of them are wearing helms, some of them are wearing large full pieces of armor, some of them aren't. Some of them are wearing leather gherkins, and some of them are wearing kind of leather caps. That it definitely looks like this is a ragtag bunch to you. Mixed of locals that are armored up and then guards that are kind of making up the numbers. You make your way in and into the group, and you see then up to your right, up on kind of a long stone staircase that leads up to the main battlements. You look up and you see Aratir and Cody.
Can we make our way down and have a word? Where's can I ask Ogun, Loran, and Norman? Are they still in their rooms?
This last you saw, that's where they would have been. Yes,
Yeah.
I mean, they haven't.
I was sleeping
It's
out
quite
in the
early
corner.
in the morning at this point. So Codeine had come to your room in the evening time, and you'd spent the evening poring over the captain of the guard's manuals, and the diaries and battle plans. Because up to the point of where you fought that individual, they were in charge of all of this, and they were running the show. But that's what you had spent the evening doing that. Well, Codeine had stayed up in your room and drank booze and probably slept in the corner.
A mere snifter.
A bit snifter. If Codeine was a bit shook because, actually, that's one thing I forgot to say. You had chased Arjun Carrick the Black, yourself and Norman had chased him down, and he took his own life in mid-fight because of a sense of desperation seemed to overtake him. And in the explosion, you were knocked back and knocked straight unconscious and came very close to death with no help from Norman whatsoever. It took Ogun's quick thinking to make his way after wondering where you were, making his way to you and resurrecting you and bringing you back.
It's our Halloween episode, so some of us are in costume. I came as Codeine from the last episode. Ryan is dressed as Norman, a streetwise teen. So, I mean...
I'm definitely a lot hairier than last we were on, so which is fitting.
There we go.
Ryan just looks like a not that I know much about this, but he looks like a shit wrestler.
Me? Thanks.
I wouldn't want to mess with him.
No, Ryan does. Tom just looks like Tom. There's Tom. Although your beard has grown in a fair bit, Tom. Fair play.
Yeah, it's
impressive.
Right now Ryan just looks like a moody wrestler. Yeah. He's all
Jill
right,
looks like someone's doing Thor dirty in
Stevie
the
Nicks.
editing. Yeah.
Obviously, full on Stevie Nicks.
Anyway.
Anyway, so Codeine the last we saw Codeine was wrestling with kind of like, shit, I nearly died. So you're kind of hanging close to Aratir at this point. But yeah, you can make your way down to Talasar as he enters in through the city. As you get close, you notice that his robes are clean and pristine and different to what he had on him before. And as you get close, you notice...
I imagine kind of like blues and kind of greys.
Different shades of blues and greys as they kind of... whereas before it was more of a simple cloth, this seems more impressive. His arm, as you get closer, you notice that it seems to be made of some form of kind of... It almost looks like porcelain. And the engravings... The engravings on it are archaic runes. Seem to, like, even at this distance, as you come down the steps and you're coming closer to them, they do seem to give off this kind of a greenish type of glow. And it's intriguing to see. The last you saw him, he was near death's door. Now it seems like a whole different person.
Wow. So I'm gonna go up to Talasar and
just
say,
straight up wrap Codeine and Aratir in a hug.
Talasar, you look good.
Where have you been?
We've plenty of time for that. We've come to help.
So good to see you.
Where
good
did
to
you
see
get an army?
It's been a long journey. It's been a long story. Something I think we should have a chat in private.
Okay.
Get some tea, talk.
Are
We can exchange stories.
Is your army going to set up camp outside, or
If there's room for them here, please make room. If not, I can arrange for.
room for them, Wayne?
If there's room for them here, we can accommodate. But we're happy to set up outside if there's not plenty in the city.
Well, there's a lot of people who have died as well, so presumably they're
Yeah, I mean, like you were like last night, you would have known after going over the documentation that you had and the books and everything from the captain of the guards, who seemed to be extremely anal attentive. They kept a note of everything, and
good for Arthur, who kind of doesn't really know what she's doing.
yeah. So you're catching up on a lot of things. You're aware of the numbers that have been lost within the ranks of the guards, and you know that there are dwellings up kind of at the western side of this particular district in the city that would house some of the guards that are no longer alive. So, given the numbers of monks, if you want them to enter, they're all still outside, standing at a perfect attention, serene, calm. You are aware that from what you remember, what you recollect of what you've read the night before, that there are guard barracks smattered throughout the city that can house these individuals. Currently, as it stands right now, where you are, the guard numbers aren't as diminished as they were. This is one of the more sturdier areas that stayed active during whatever attack happened, because you still, even though Arthur, you will have known, reading up on what has happened and what attacked the city, which we'll get into in a wee while, you know that that's where you'd be able to come.
Okay. I am going to instruct one of the more senior guards who's with me to organise with one of Talasar's senior monks to get the guys inside, as many of them as possible, and housed with our people and fed if needs be.
Yeah, I send an instruction out to one of the leading monks there, Garvis.
Okay.
Just to let him know to bring him in.
So the monk comes in and kind of nods, and one of the guards that you back into Arthur comes down. You notice it's the same female guard that kind of stood to attention when you told me that Talasar in. She makes her way down and kind of nods and gives a salute to the monk, and they both make their way out and start clearing the way so the monks can make their way into the city. And this is all happening all at once. You're all grouped together, and the monks start to make their way in and up, and you see that the guards they're directing them to where the barracks would be. The group, you see that the populace that are in this particular area have started to gather and are in awe of these, like something they haven't seen before. Clearly, these kind of like stoic and poised monks making their way into the city silently. Like, it's not as if this is a troop marching. There's no large clang of armor and clashing of swords and shields. They are practically just, they're soft-footed monks making their way as they kind of, you see the stream of hundreds of monks making their way into the city and siphoning off into the areas that they're being directed to, without merely a word out of their mouths.
I'm going to run up a couple of the steps beside us so that I can see everybody, and make a very short little announcement to the people gathering to say, essentially, these monks are here to help us. Please make them welcome. Do not be afraid. They're on our side.
As you do this, some of the people are looking up at you and they're kind of in confusion. Some of them, there's recognition on some of their faces, but not all of their faces, because literally you've only been in this position less than 12 hours. And it's like, some of them are like, yeah, the fuck's this bitch? But it's like, they're looking, some of them kind of nod, and there's kind of relief on some faces and worry still on some others.
Including mine, because I'm all about Talasar, but I'm still a little reticent about having lots and lots of armed strangers around.
Their hands are their arms. Are their
hands
oh
are their
yeah,
weapons. So the monks start to siphon off, and the numbers start to dwindle as they come to the end of it. A good 10-15 minutes, they're all kind of in, and the doors are then and the barricades are then put back up. You've been here now in total about a half an hour, and the morning sun is starting to creep up in the sky. You can see people are starting to stoke fires and start cooking breakfast. The smell of cooked meat start to fill the air, and kind of like Pete. At this time of year, it's actually getting to the more wintry part of the year, so the sun is quite low in the sky, and there is a sharpness to it, and there's a briskness to the air as well. And the kind of guards that mill about and start preparing for group meals, and you see that there are actual inhabitants of the area starting to line up, and you notice that there are actual kind of like food halls and kind of the feed the poor and the destitute in this area have been set up by the guards to keep the populace safe and fed. As much as the hospitality that there is renowned in Talasar. So what does the group want to do now?
I think we need to make our way back to the main building and have that tea Talasar was talking about.
Yes, tea, what a novel idea.
Have it amongst ourselves and catch up and maybe wake up the other three amigos.
Okay, so you start to make your way back up into the main area, which is close to the hall that you're in, which is the kind of the base of operations for everything that's going on here. Where you had that fight earlier on.
I turn to Cody and as we're walking, and I say, I wonder, do we catch up ourselves first, or do we bother informing the council as yet? I would prefer to hear Talasar's story ourselves first.
Seconded.
Okay.
I agree.
So you make your way up, and the morning sun is starting to creep up into the sky and pierce the kind of the morning dew and fog. I'm going to switch to Norman and Loran to see what they are doing at the moment. So, Norman, what are yourself and Loran up to?
Loran, what time is it?
It's about 8:30 in the morning now at this point. It was quite early when Aratir was woken.
Loran is still asleep. And Norman is sitting hunched in the corner, watching him sleep.
That's all you're doing?
Yep. Like a gargoyle. Just sitting on a chair, just perched and just watching.
We call that move the Twilight.
That's why.
It's a sign of love.
That face was extra effective, Kim, with that makeup.
Yeah, because they've gotten tired. They got tired of
hijinks.
Of hijinks. They got tired of doing knickknacks and.
Tom. They were doing magic knickknacks.
Yeah. Magic knickknacks on Dacius Trevelyan, who was getting no sleep whatsoever. Not because of his guilt or anything, because he was shamed by people, but because they just kept fucking doing it.
A 20-minute interval, so we never got any REM sleep.
No.
Like about to have a nervous breakdown. I'm
a
sitting
small,
outside
angry baby.
And we ordered like a bunch of pizzas to his room under his name.
Yeah.
And, I imagine there was probably some drama there. But otherwise at the moment, I don't know that. Yeah, like I said, Loran is definitely still asleep, like 100%.
8:30 in the morning for sure. Yeah, Loran will be.
Yeah, like Loran's not waking up until noon, and I don't know that that Norman has I'm very much still in the thought process of. Okay, the original like 8 plans don't work now. So, what is my easiest way to leave here now, without drawing? So I'm probably just sitting it. That I am hunched in the corner, but I'm just pensive. I'm just thinking about the best way to leave.
Cool. Ogun, what is Ogun doing?
He's still outside in the hall, asleep.
Yeah, you went to sleep in the hallway. You were woken by a very disgruntled kitchen servant who was delivering pizzas at about 3 a.m. this morning, and they kind of tripped over you as they walked in and kind of like, what the? Who left the bloody dog in the hallway? And then they got a bit freaked out and started to talk to them.
Did I guilt him into one of the pizzas for falling over me?
Roll a persuasion check and see if you got yourself a pizza. This is the type of shit we roll for.
What's it done off again? Persuasion?
Oh yeah.
Charisma.
Charisma. Oh, my charisma is not that. Give me a sec. I do have the card.
So your charisma's -1.
I got a 7. I rolled an 8, so I got a 7.
You got a
so,
7. They were like, no, we don't, no. And he kind of went back and knocked on the door, and Dastard's Trevelyan, in a bluster of anger, was like, what? Oh, is somebody actually here? What do you want? He's like, did you order these pizzas? Did I order what? No, take them away, and do not knock on this door again. And as the servant was going past, he kind of was like, oh, you better have one now. And he just throws one at your feet and just keeps walking.
Wait, I'll eat the pizza and go back to bed.
You get reject
Go back to
pizza.
sleep.
You go back to sleep. So, at 8:30 in the morning then, after consuming your 3 a.m. pizza, and still in a kind of a dough coma, are you awake, or are you getting up, or what are you doing?
It's so unusual to be... I think I'm going to sleep for a bit longer until...
Right, so.
Yeah, because there's no... Usually we get called or something, so, you know...
I mean, someone's going to fall over you eventually again, because you're in the hallway.
Yeah.
Okay, that's grand. So if you're asleep, Norman is being pensive, Loran is sleeping. So we'll switch back to the other three, who have now made their way into the main base of operations and are seated at a table at the top of the room. And one of the kitchen servers is bringing you a selection of teas and kind of a coffee-like substance and some morning pastries and meats.
I'm going to gesture to one of the servants, probably not the kitchen staff, and ask them if they could arrange to get the rest of our party here. Because Ogan would be real upset if he missed out on the food.
That's fine.
Conversation as well.
I look at Archer and say, all of our party. Do we need all of our party for this?
Do you really want another piece of resentment that they'll have against you if we don't involve them?
I mean, I don't know why I keep caring about this, but okay.
What's the
Okay.
latest amongst
So you one of the kind of the, not the maids of the room, but she's known as a kind of a gopher in the kind of the main area. Comes in, she's like, and we can arrange for them to be woken, yes, and have them brought here, or make them aware that you're here and have to come down.
Yes, please. Tell them our friend Talasar is here, and we need their presence. And also, there's breakfast.
She's wiping her hands on the bottom of her apron, and she kind of like seems to have been working in the kitchen as well. That's no problem. We can arrange for that to be done. They should be here shortly. And she kind of cleans her hands and heads off. So you're left, then the three of you, with your breakfasts in front of you and your different beverages. What do you want to talk about?
Good to see you both. You both look good.
Cody, in fact, does not look good. Cody looks like she's still recovering from being nearly dead.
Well, I wouldn't be able to tell that straight off, would I?
Roll an insight check.
Not bad. Let's see now. 18.
18. When you look at Cody, and you're half thinking it's either morning, and Cody is not a morning person, or something bad happened to her recently, and she's still recovering from it. She looks like she's been through like the wars as it is. Archer less so. Archer's still in her captain of the guard armor, pristine, clean, and you notice like it's compared to what she was wearing, but you notice that there is a bit of a mishmash of her old armor, and there is the spiked shoulder pad is now part of her new captain of the guard, sleek captain of the guard armor.
Having ale for breakfast, so that's a good sign.
What was that?
Having ale for breakfast, so that's a good sign.
Yeah.
Some things
I have
don't change.
a slightly haunted expression since we went to my home place that time. But apart from that, I'm going to turn it back on you, Talasar. You look good for someone who got sucked through a portal without an arm.
Yeah. There's been a lot of changes, a lot of new things that have come to light for me, and that I think will be to the benefit of the entire group and to the wider world, really. I think
Can we start small? Where did you go?
I went through blackness and I went through darkness and came to be in the presence of my former liege, who you think is an enemy, but really they're not.
Oh,
Festivus is not who you think he is. I'll say no more until the rest of the group are here, but he is not the enemy in this fight.
okay.
This is why I think my side of the story should be told in very quiet privacy, away from prying ears within the walls of Terrace Moor.
Okay. Now, members of our party are not necessarily the brightest. So if you're, I mean, there have been some strife at times, earned or unearned.
Hopefully what we fight against can unite us all again.
Okay. Okay. If it's as big as you say, and if your army is needed, then maybe.
They're a failsafe.
Speaking
What
of
we need to do is something a bit more subtle.
Okay.
Tony, can you roll an insight check for me, please?
Oh, me. Okay, sorry.
Yeah. Because you've got the highest passive insight.
I do.
So I just want to...
Not like that, I don't. I just rolled it 2, baby. So that's 6.
So even with your passive insight, even with that roll, from what you can gather from Talasar's demeanor and from the way he's holding himself, he seems to be telling you the truth. This is what you can garner yourself. This is just you. So in the back of your head, as you're sitting there, kind of listening to what he's saying, he seems to be truthful.
Okay. All right.
The place where I went back, I regained memories of my past life. My memories left me as a result of staring into something I shouldn't have stared into. Nigh on 100 years ago. And as a result, I lost and forgot my past as a cleric. I was once a cleric, a follower of Cord, the Stormlord. The runes you see on my arm, they're his runes, they're his powers that now course back through me. But through my time away, it allowed me the ability to recuperate and to relearn and combine those powers with my abilities now as a monk.
First time we met you, you didn't have all those memories.
No. They were vague, they were fleeting, but I have them now.
And what incarnation of you did we meet? And what incarnation of you did Dacius Trevelyan manage to talk into the quest?
Well, both are just as valid as the other. They were the same. I just happened, as I didn't get a chance to explain, but after my accident, the time I spent was with a group of monks. I don't know if you can hear Will, can you?
That's fine.
It's a very busy courtyard. Carry on.
Exactly. There's millings about, and there's wet nurses with the babies that were born in the last couple of weeks in Terrace Moor.
Stone walls are not that stony, you know.
A baby's wail can penetrate all walls.
But what happened was I had no memories, and I found myself resting with a group of the monks that you see outside the walls. They trained me in their ways, and for a time I learned at their side, and I kind of had to be given a bit more of a slower learning than most of the others because of the effects of my accident. But when Dacius called for aid, he called not to me but to my master, to my now former master.
Okay.
But he sent me as an envoy, and he thought that I was suited for the task, that it was my first time to try and step out into a wider world. But now, through our previous adventures, I know now that there's been other things that I've done in the past, almost like a past life, if you will.
Okay,
Wow.
that's interesting. I think even those of us who have not been removed from this realm feel like they've had past lives at this point. A lot has been discovered, as we'll all find out
Well,
once
if you
party
mean
members get here.
if you mean to explain the true nature of Dacius, I know enough of Dacius. I know that he seems duplicitous and seems like someone who you can't trust, but he was also merely trying to do his best for what he
Yeah.
thought was right.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean that he was the right person to have done it.
No, idealists are problematic in general. But
Norman and Naran, or Norman anyway, you hear dum, 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 and Ogun, you kind of stir from your sleep as you look up, and at the doorway for Norman and Naran's quarters is a servant. So he kind of knocks on the door, and he kind of looks around. He looks down at Ogun. He's like, "Hey, are you one of the group?"
Last time I checked, yeah, but I was asleep for 8 hours, so something could have happened. Well,
Your compatriots are gathering in the hall, and they've requested your presence. Norman, the knocking continues.
Yeah.
we call.
Cool. Norman opens the door, and
this bitch.
he's just like, "What?"
Your presence has been requested by your traveling companions. They are gathering in the main hall. A traveler has joined them from outside of the realm, and they have requested your presence. And apparently there's breakfast.
Oh, on hearing the word breakfast, I do a legger.
Right, so
10 minutes, and then you hear from inside the room, half an hour, and then I close the door.
So reverting back to you three then, you're chatting away, and it's been about 15-20 minutes since you asked somebody to go get the group, and you hear kind of a skittering and a crashing, and off to the right hand side through a doorway you see Ogun on all fours bounding into the room, and he kind of looks up expectantly as he sees Aratir and Cody, and then Ogun, you then clock that Talasar is sitting at the table.
I'm like when a cat hasn't eaten for ages. I go straight for the food and start eating, not even aware that people are there. You know.
Ogun, I'm gonna try and do the thigh tap to get you up, so I can lift you up to the table. I'm feeling very Ogun.
There's plenty for. Oh! Hi. What's
Ogun.
going on?
I get down on my knee and I just get ruffled on top of his head.
I remember you. Wait, you lost weight.
You look good as well, friend.
Thanks. Ooh. What's that? Point as his new arm.
That's an upgrade, if you will.
That wasn't there last time we seen you.
No, I seem to have gained my arm back in some form. It's I'm not one for making jokes, but
That'll come in handy. Definitely. What brings you here?
there's things that need to be done to help right the wrongs of Dacius.
Oh, the dragon guy.
Yeah.
What did he do now? Because he was.
Well, one of his pupils is trying to basically destroy the world. We're here to help.
Before you continue,
Hang on. Your help to destroy the world?
No. We're here to save it.
the nature of the information that Talasar wants to share, can I give the nod to the serving staff to fuck off?
Well, there's no serving staff around you. You're kind of up on the raised area, up the steps. So behind you will be the doorway into where Arduin's old quarters will be, and
Right.
then off to the left is where the doorway is into the room that the group would have gathered previously. And you're kind of up and away from the bustling of the main planning area. And there are people milling about, but they're giving you a wide berth. And if you want to roll a perception check, you can see if there's anyone close by trying to listen in.
That would be a 4.
Before you look about, and there's so much going on at the moment, you can't really tell whether everyone seems to be focused on what they're doing, but
Yeah.
you can't tell whether they're trying to, on second hand, trying to listen into what's going on at your table. Nobody seems to be paying you much attention at the moment.
Oh, does anyone want some pizza? And I take out a slice of pizza I kept from last night. It's very good.
From?
Breakfast pizza. Breakfast pizza is great.
Breakfast pizza's pretty good, and there's no worms on this one.
Yeah, but,
Waistcoat
doesn't he
pizza
not
though,
have,
Ogan.
no, does he have no clothes? Or does he...
Ogan is still wearing the clothes. I nearly swear he's still wearing the fancy clothes.
Yeah, his fancy Dan clothes, yeah.
Yeah.
He's taken that out of his little vest thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
My little waistcoat, that was the waistcoat pizza with no worms. And then
But
I got another slice of with
he's
worms.
wearing Ogan's clothes are currently in a pretty stinky state because he's been wearing those fancy Dan clothes since the banquet. So
Yeah.
I wanna
and
explain.
you've been through a lot of shit since then, including like the fucking Docklands, including the City of Bones,
Including
And-
actual shit.
shit in the Black Asylum. So all of these clothes, they've been gathering a lot of crap. There's a lot of unidentifiable material hanging off Ogan's clothes and his
I'm sure
fur.
there's a bit of moss.
Yeah, he's quite stinky.
But yeah, I've got pizza if you want it.
I'm good for
No,
now.
thanks, Ogan.
Thanks, Oregon.
Thank you, though.
Okay, so you all are catching up. Ogan is rifling into the breakfast in front of him.
Definitely.
About 40 minutes go by, and the unassuming pair of Loran and Norman make their way into the general area and look about.
This is yeah. We just kind of like wander in and then see all the crowd there, and we're just like, fine. So yeah, we like saunter on over, give Ogan the nod, give. Well, no, don't. That's it. Just give
Odin
Ogan.
the finger.
Not even a good thing for Aratir.
Loran blows. Loran gives Aratir the waggly eyebrows, and then like Norman's just like, morning all, and then just kind of like looks at Talasar and just like, new friend.
And Talasar, at this point, you do not recognize Norman because Norman
I
is in a
wouldn't
new
know.
meat sleeve.
Yeah.
So you don't know who this individual is.
New
unless
monk, who this?
Yeah, unless you want to roll perception to see if you pick up on whatever the fuck
His essence.
his general essence and stink. Well, there's no stink. There you go.
Well, he's been in that body a little while now. I don't know.
Yeah, but the old one with the-
Not as long as
Did
you
you say-
in the original meat sleeve.
Did you say perception?
Perception.
17.
17. After a second of just staring at Norman, even through his makeshift darkened glasses that he seems to have gotten from somewhere, you kind of flick and you kind of go, that's fucking Warlock, motherfucker. That's that Norman guy who, and the last time, in the last situation that you saw each other, there was some tension and there was loggerheads. So you're now noticing that they're in a different body, and you're like,
That's new. What's changed for him? And I asked this to Codeine and to Aratir.
Aratir. I look at Aratir kind of going, where do we start? And Codeine is racking her brains to work out. She remembered that there was major vibes between those two, but I can't remember which direction it was going in. So
major vibes between who?
like
between Talasar
bad
and
vibes between Talasar and Norman back in the day.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to remember who was hostile with who, but it might have been mutual.
Well, Norman's just hostile with everyone.
Yeah.
Talasar wasn't happy with Norman for a brief moment.
Yeah.
No.
So during the situation in Breston, during the kind of the original attack on the attack on the city that swallowed it into the ground, And leading up to that, Norman and Talasar both went into what used to be the butcher shop that seemed to be infected, and something took place in there. As far as the rest of you are aware, because you're not aware exactly what happened, but when they came out, they were at loggerheads, and then everything else happened around that, and then Talasar at the end of that was thrown through the portal.
Yeah.
So I'm amazed I'm able to remember that because I was fucking hammered for that episode.
Yeah, you were, and I wasn't there.
That was
don't go to the
exactly a
Pubcast
year
for
ago.
nothing.
That was our Halloween episode a year ago, and this is our Halloween
It
episode
was.
this year.
It's taken that long to bring me back.
It's taken a year, and you know, I know. Thankfully, I'm not drinking a metric full ton of booze. I am drinking Iron Brew. So
Yeah.
Oh, he's going to be bending gutters.
I guarantee. It's good. It helps with the Scottish dwarf accent.
You notice with Talasar, he's not openly. He's a lot more serene, a lot more calm, based on just the fact that he now kind of recognizes what he has to do and what he kind of used to be before. He holds no grudge. He understands that there's going to be times when people do things that he doesn't like, and he'll just let it go.
Oh, it must be nice.
So, as the more people join the group, another server comes up and is like, do you wish me to fetch more sustenance and drinks for the group? As you kind of look towards Moran and Norman.
Yes.
I look at Ogun and I ask Ogun, will I get more cheese?
Yeah, is that yellow stuff?
Yes.
Yeah, I'll have some of that.
Okay.
You could just bring me some pancakes this time, but actually do cook them right. Get better than
even a new voice.
They were shit. Yeah, they were shit. No, they were shit. Bring some proper ones.
Oh my God, Loran, please keep talking. I need to hear more from them.
So for anyone that hasn't caught yet, Ryan is doing Loran until Naomi joins. So
he's got good personality.
And that was Loran and Norman ordering pancakes.
Yeah.
I actually thought that was just Norman's new voice.
Norman's voice stayed the same. So you hear this gruff, kind of guttural voice emanating from this young, svelte-ish looking half.
No ish. It's svelte.
It's svelte.
This is the sveltest motherfucker you've ever seen.
So this new meat sleeve. This new meat sleeve that, for Talasar's sakes, this new meat sleeve that Norman is now living in is a young elf. It's male, isn't it? It's a male body.
Yes.
Very like a teenage-looking elf. High cheekbones, pulled back hair and a ponytail that kind of is a blondish in color. But you do see that like it is starting just on the beginnings of as if it's starting to slightly decompose.
It's like Charlie in that one episode of Always Sunny, where every so often he just kind of reaches up and pulls out one of his own teeth, and he's just like, ah! And it's like, stop doing that.
It's just kind of like a grey pallor to your skin at the minute.
I'm going to run a poll in the comments here saying, do we need to not say the word meat sleeve anymore? Yes, no.
I will say meat sleeve as often as I can.
Don't I know it?
I kind of like to call it like my flesh mitten.
Flesh mitten. Okay.
Oh,
yeah, flesh mitten. I'll go with that one. At the behest of the players. So Norman's flesh mitten.
Oh my God.
But yeah, so that's this. Like as you take all this in Talasar, that's in front of you. But you see, Loran is still Loran, still looking fabulous even at this hour of the morning as he sits there ordering his pancakes.
He did take like 40 minutes to get ready, so of course.
Yeah, totally.
Turning Luke's.
So the server goes off, and the whole group now have gathered and are kind of there.
I wait for everybody to kind of sit, and I stand kind of in front of them as they're all sitting and taking their bits of food and stuff, and I just ask, what do you know of Dacius Trevelyan?
Dick.
And what do you know of Festivus?
The best of us?
The best of us.
That's that non-denominational holiday, isn't it?
It is.
Trevelyan likes to get a lot of knocks on his door at night for some reason, but bar that, and he's a white dragon, but bar that, I don't know much.
He's a lot He's a lot more subdued than when we met him originally, and a lot more unsure of himself. His ego certainly seems to have taken a battering.
And what? Okay. And what do you know of Dilius Quival?
Bad guy.
Do you know that Trevelyan trained Dilius?
No.
No.
Dilius was once a student of Dacius.
Okay.
But he was once a good person, training under Dacius. Dacius and Festivus, along with Quival, tried to stop the coming of Skrannik the Pointed.
Oh.
Skrannik is an entity, a crystalline spider, claiming godship. When Trevelyan, Dacius, that is, along with Festivus and Quival, discovered this entity trying to make their way into the prime material plane, they took it upon themselves with Dacius as their lead to try and stop. Under his guidance, though, Quival changed, and Quival switched sides.
Dick.
So what happened then, I'm assuming, and I'm not sure if everybody is aware, but the realm that we currently inhabit isn't actually the prime material plane as such. It is a pocket dimension within the prime material plane.
We did.
Told something like that, but I didn't understand it.
Were we
Never good
originally
at
on the
geography at
prime
school.
plane?
So, as it was explained to you by Dacius Trevelyan in the last session,
Yeah.
you were all born in this particular realm, bar Norman, and
Right.
Moran is not from this realm either.
Technically, I wouldn't be either.
No, neither are you. You are no. Well, you're
No,
not
because
100%.
if I'm over 100 odd years old, I would have worked under.
It's a couple of 100 years that it happened back, and you are still as you're kind of still trying to figure things out. It's still not 100% sure.
Laurent's here.
Laurent's here. Excellent.
Woo!
Laurent will be here in a minute.
Cool.
Laurent was always here. I heard his voice like 2 minutes ago.
That is true. He called this monk a loser and then had a 40-minute nap.
Oh, and then ordered pancakes and told them to cook them properly.
Yeah.
What have I been doing in this time? Nothing?
Ordering pancakes.
Loraning up to 11.
So, yes. So, as Talasar has been explaining, and as the group are aware, this is not the main universe. Not the main plane of existence. This is like a pocket universe that has been created off to the side by Quival, or following the situation that arose between Quival, Festivus, Trevelyan, and this entity called Skrannik the Pointed, who the trio, along with others, were trying to stop from becoming a god within their realm, or trying to claim godhood in their realm.
Talasar, are we going to try to save the prime realm from Skrannik? Is that where Skrannik is now? Are we trying to save this realm from Skrannik? If that's still a threat.
As to the whereabouts of Skrannik, that's not something I'm aware of myself. Just before we move on in any further, Festivus is, and I think you all maybe have started joining the dots on this, but King Gregor is actually King Festivus. Festivus had to, after the events of when Craval left, Festivus had to do something or be lost to time himself. So he installed a copy of himself called Gregor, setting himself up to be an enemy of Gregor, so that people would be able to kind of have a memory of him I was once an envoy of Festivus. I was a cleric in a troop of soldiers as part of his army. I travelled with several expeditions around the country in dealing with trying to help his help him with Skrannik. In the sense that why I'm here now, there is an individual within the city who is actively trying to stop Festivus from gaining access to this city. Festivus needs to come back to his home city, Terrace-Moor, to be able to start to help the entire city and the wider world. The reason why I come now is because I had to beg for Festivus's approval to come, knowing that this may be a suicide mission for me, but it's an opportunity that can't be let go. The person that we need to... Sorry, I'm trying to read about 1 million different notes from when.
So I can, if you want, I can say this for you, Tom. No problem whatsoever.
No,
It's on you to say it. It's the character's moment. So.
Yeah. No, I can get to it. It's where, and I look at seeing obviously the new breastplate and so on of Aratir. Do you know where Ardwin Carrick is? Or do you know who that is?
Whoops.
Talasar, you would be aware of who Arduin is because you were here when he sent you to Brescia.
Yeah, that so everyone else would be aware. That's why I'm asking. I was like, you remember Ardwin?
Yes.
Ardwin is under the influence of Quival. Ardwin and Quival currently have the means within the city to stop Festivus from coming into the city. However, and I reach into the inner pocket of my robes and I pull out a like a chain with a pendant on the end of it. This is how we get Festivus back in. I don't know if you need to explain that, Wayne, or whatever, but the
as you look, Talasar pulls out this long kind of silver chain that is linked at the end to a large kind of jeweled pendant. It glows red, very similar to the red crystals that you would have seen, but this one seems to have this life within it. There's like a swirling glow, and as you all stare at it, you can nearly feel. And Norman, if you, in particular Norman and even Loran and Ogun, as being the spell users within the group, you can feel the arcane energy pulsing off this thing. But whereas you have been in the presence of the red crystals before, and at first you think, fuck, it's one of those things. It's not.
Yeah.
You feel the energy is different. And it's...
The Aratir's thinking that she'll never break it.
So for the magic users in the group, you're kind of sensing the energies of this, and they don't seem to be corrupted in the same way the red crystals were. There's a different energy of this particular item that's emanating from it. The longer you stare at it.
The red dust is an after effect of what happened when the original group, Dacia's involved, tried to take down Skrannik. It's a mere byproduct of what happened all those years ago. As to what happened to me, when I was travelling with Commander Brevik, we were travelling towards the northern lands. We were wiped out with the exception of myself and Brevik, but we came upon a large, deep pit, and it's from what we saw in that pit that robbed my memories, that only have now recently come back to light.
Oh.
It was essentially a void, a deep, swirling void. And right now, Festivus and Brevik currently watch over the Northern Lands to see if there are things changing there. And that's where my story ends. Until I was washed up on the shores and found by my brethren out there, the other monks. They took me in, they trained me, they gave me the ability to be able to look after myself. But when I went to Breshton and was sucked through the portal, what you thought was Fest was ripping my arm, it wasn't, or unless I can be mistaken, Wayne, that wasn't actually Festivus, was it?
It was Festivus, but he was breaking the curse on you. That's what he was doing, and it needed you to go through severe trauma and rebuild yourself in order for that to be something that could happen. So it was a small evil for a greater good.
Yeah.
The greater good.
When
Crusty jugglers.
I then relearned of my past as a cleric and follower of Cord, and at the mention of Cord, you see a little spark of lightning just crease across the corners of his eyes.
And you notice that the runes in his arms, there's like a crackle. There's like a smell of ozone briefly in the air.
And that's and that's where I come to you now. I need your help.
So as he said, he's looking for Arduin Carrick the Black, because apparently Arduin has some form of
Hey.
hello.
Oh, hello.
Arduin has some form of kind of control over the city that's stopping Festivus from getting in.
Talasar, stop me if I'm dim, but Arduin is patrolling the Northlands. In which realm?
Oh,
No,
Bravik
Festivus.
is patrolling the Northern Lands. Arduin is part of the council in Terrace Moor. He sent us to Breshton.
Arduin Carrick the Black the
yes,
Third
okay.
is the individual that you and Ryan fought in the last set.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
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 Is he dead?
Those the ears, Naomi. They are whopper.
They
Lovely.
rock.
I had to do a
Yeah.
very, very quick change out of my work uniform and sit down.
Right.
Wait, did you say Arduin's dead?
Arduin
Appeared.
used self-destruct.
It depends on, like, his body was really crispy.
Okay.
I didn't taste it. But yeah, I don't think it's coming back from that.
No.
That's
And
the Black, then he's living up to his name.
he nearly took me with him.
So, okay, that changes things slightly. The only thing I know the Festivus told me was that there is somewhere within the High Chancellor's chamber that I need to put this pendant near or around, and that will change things. The reason why the monks are here is to give backup to should anything happen to us while we try to do this.
Okay.
Wait, I have a question.
Moran has a question.
Who is this?
Ask that.
Yeah.
So Loran has already come into the room and has met Talasar again. So this is Talasar is returning.
I don't know that
I
he
have-
remembers though.
I have never seen this man before in my life.
Yeah. Well,
Loran,
In fairness, when Talasar was yeeted through the portal, he had hair and he had no beard, whereas now he has no hair and a big beard.
okay.
So
Not gonna lie,
that would change a bit.
Even
Yeah.
if he looked the exact same,
Yeah.
wouldn't remember him.
no, the thing is, you must have forgotten because you were actually here for this, if you remember. But at the start,
But it's on point that Loran, even 20 minutes, would be like, whatever.
Sorry,
He's
I
got
got
an extra arm now.
Loran,
He's through an empty arm.
if you don't monk me now, will you never monk me again? So I just need to.
there's a bit of a stretch.
I think I pulled my shoulder.
Yeah.
It's because the Talasar holding that thing, and I've got Aratir over here, and I'm afraid my brain is in a bit of a loop.
Just to fill you in, I've already established that Loran and Norman don't know who this is.
fantastic. Good
I
idea.
just put the pendant back into my robes.
Okay. So, so as Talasar has said, he said that he needs to place that pendant somewhere within the chambers of Arduin Carrick the Black.
Can I ask
Okay.
now that Ardwin Carrick is no more? Do we need to worry? What does that mean for Brevik? is still presumably alive and well and patrolling.
So Brevik and Vestivus are together. Brevik is Vestivus' sub-commander. Who they are, as Talasar's story is laid out, they are trapped, or not trapped, but they are in the Northern Realms.
Yes.
Basically guarding what would have been the Void.
Yeah.
Talasar has come here as an envoy of Vestivus to let you know that he is actually on your side.
Yeah.
And that in order for him to come here, there is a kind of a block on his ability to be able to teleport or transport into the city. But this has been put here by Arduin Carrick. The pendant that Talasar has is a counterspell that needs to be enacted in the vicinity of where this block is. And Talasar has been informed that apparently it's within the chambers of Arduin Black.
So we were on our way, we were following Arduin Black, and presumably he was going to his chambers or going to his base.
When you chased him out of the city.
Yeah.
So when he says his chambers, he means his office.
In the
Right, which is in the city.
Which is in the city.
Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
is that the room that I burned the shit out of?
That's what you burned partially. You burned about half of it.
Okay. Well, let's
Sounds
go
very
back
on
there
point for
then.
Norman.
Even
I'm
knows
gonna-
my name. That's really weird.
I'm going to pause it here for a pee break because I've been drinking a lot of Iron Brew.
Okay.
Back in a sec. Let's go for a pee break.
Okay,
I really should have moved the block of text I had here over to here so that it looked like as if I was reading it and looking at the camera.
I'm using my fella's work setup, Tom, so he's got fucking 3 screens normally. I've got one in the back with D&D Beyond, and I've got this one, and I'm catching the natural light this way. But yeah, it makes me look like a real fucking organized. None of it's mine.
And I'm just using my phone because my tablet didn't arrive. Ooh.
Kim, does your friend have anything to say? The one beside you.
Mr. Bones and me sitting playing D&D, and we're all going. Yeah, that's Mr. Bones. He makes the worst sound. Huh?
Coding would be so much more fun with a weird skeleton sidekick.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Well, Mr. Bones here. Now he's.
Does he have a wild ride?
He does. Mr. Bones is wild ride. He was discounted. He's such a fucking good skeleton. He was super discounted in Woody's a few years ago, and I'm like, why? And then I got him home and found out why. Whatever noise, like he makes noise, but the noise sounds like a train of lost souls. It's
Can he do it
so
now?
wrong. No, because I had to take the batteries out because my kids were fucking wetting themselves with fear. Like it's way too loud. It's way too loud. It's like whoa, like it's too
I
much.
love him.
Way too much. And Mr. Bones makes the fucking scariest noise. At the break, Naomi, I'll put batteries in him and show you how disproportionate the fucking noise is and why I was able to get such a handsome skeleton for like 20% of the original price.
I would love that very much.
All right.
I think just because you mentioned the break and because it is the Halloween episode, I think we could get such a good bit out of when we break.
Yeah.
And when we come back, I think it should just be him in the chair and Kim shouldn't be there for a few minutes.
Yeah.
And
Talking to
I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
I think that would be very good.
I don't remember my D&D Beyond login.
Oh yeah, you need to level up. You never did that.
Lads, I'm starting to think pins and logins aren't the number part of our brain. They're our muscle memory. And then all you have to do is change keyboard and you're fucked.
Point of order for Kim. When you leveled up Codeine, did you increase your HP as well?
Yeah.
Good.
It did it for me. I'm up to 33.
Loran, when you get a chance as well on D&D Beyond, when you get a chance, if you want to do it during break, it's cool. You can. You need to level up to level 6.
Level up what?
To level
You need
6.
to level up Loran.
Yeah.
We are level 6.
That's what we were talking about.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Sorry. Savage. Okay, then. Cool. Right. So what does the group want to do now? Talasar has given you his tall tale. He's shown you the pendant, explained to you the position that Festivus is in, and Codeine off the bat, like you're sitting there going, okay, this all seems to be quite truthful. Your insight into him, like your passive insight is pretty high, and you can tell he's been extremely forthcoming with information. He doesn't seem to be bullshitting you in any way.
Yeah.
Aww.
Can I do a perception roll to just see how this is being received by some of the less knowable members of our
Of course you
group?
can, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Oh. No, sorry, it's a 7. I thought it was a 1. It's a 7, so I got 14.
14. Okay, so we can go. What we'll do here is, rather than me telling you what they feel, we can go around all the groups, and basically it's as if you're just looking at their things. And it's like, you know, when you see a film or show and somebody's sitting there and you can hear the thoughts. So,
The Buffy episode, yeah.
yeah,
where she
from
can-
14,
yeah.
at a perception level of 14. You see now. 1 second, I'm just going to look at it. So you can look at Ogun. You can tell what Ogun is thinking. So what's Ogun thinking?
Not much. He's kind of wondering, is like, why did he go for a weird arm where you could just get a human arm and stick it on like Norman did? Weird.
Norman, can you roll a wisdom throw for me, please?
Sure.
I just want to see if Cody is able to read you, even in your current state.
Yeah, probably. That's like a 4.
A 4. So actually, Norman, in a very rare moment, it seems to be quite readable. So
Okay.
what's Norman thinking right now?
Norman and Loran have been muttering between themselves for the honestly, for most of what Talasar was saying, we've just been like muttering between ourselves. So we pretty
That
much heard
tracks.
that.
You hear none of it?
Pretty much.
Okay.
Wasn't listening.
So Loran
Don't
will be in the same
even-
boat. Loran seems to be completely distracted by the fact that his
Yeah,
pancakes are just arrived.
Loran is trying to remember his fucking D&D Beyond login.
He is.
It's all good.
I
It's all
don't need
good.
D&D Beyond because I can just tell you Loran's thoughts. Loran is not on this conversation. He's not on this planet. He's kind of like, I wonder how Swift is doing. I wonder if he wants to hang out later. I should get a cat. I need to water my plants.
Cool. I like it. I like it.
Who is
Aratir.
this guy?
Aratir, roll a wisdom check. Wisdom saving throw for you there.
Some saving throw, he says.
That's a new account, so I don't know what that is.
A 5. So Aratir, what are you thinking?
Aratir is taken in by the story from Talasar and is kind of quietly wanting to spring into action because she's feeling the weight of her responsibility now as head guard and is anxious to kind of get to the next step, which is getting to presumably Ardwin Carrick's office so we can get Vestivus back.
Okay.
Wayne, I need to ask a question.
Sure.
Who was that when we were back in Codine's house? Who was that necromancy type of guy?
You don't really know, as far as I remember.
Don't really know.
You just recalled that it was a necromancer drow.
Yeah, but he's not any of the two.
It's not any of the named people.
It's not any of the named people because I'm trying to kind of.
You never found out his name, as far as I recollect.
Grand.
Correctly. You never found out his name. You just are aware. And I think during the last session, it had come up that you were asked the question. You think you did describe him? I'm trying to remember if you had described him to Dacius as he was telling you his part of the
We did.
story.
I was like, that was that guy in Codine's gaff.
Yeah. So you did describe him, and Dacius did kind of corroborate the description and say that could have been him.
Where did we meet Festivus again? Sorry, I'm trying to.
So, at the end of the attack on Breshton, when you were transported by an infected beholder to the Northern Realms, you met very briefly with an individual claiming to be Festivus, who then did what he did to Talasar, and then transported you to. So, some of you landed in Henrik's Point, and some of you landed on Urk's ship, or Rune's ship. So
right.
The best of us had transported you, and it seemingly had been 6 months later. So he pushed you forward in time to Henrik's Point and to a corresponding ship as well. So,
but the only impression we have of him is when he ripped the arm off a party member and threw him through a portal, and then sent us on our merry way.
Sent us to a place that you needed to go. Yeah.
Right. Cool. Thank you. That's all I want to know.
Cool. Right. So, right now, where it stands, what does the group want to do? And at this point, The pancakes have arrived for both Norman and Loran, and I'm going to roll a performance check for the kitchen staff to see if they cooked them to your liking. I shit you not, that is a natural one. So,
Oh, no, not enough egg.
so
Not
they have
enough
arrived
egg.
and they look like pancakes, and they seemingly look all right, but to you, they are fucking terrible.
I need to wait until. Has the server just brought them?
She is putting them in front of you.
As she puts them down and she goes to walk away, I'm like, wait,
She kind of turns like, yes.
take a bite.
He takes a bite and he's like, "Oh yeah, these were actually for our new friend. Here you go, monk."
So Loran hands over the pancakes to Talasar, and the server kind of turns and like nods and then walks away.
Eat it.
Not to be rude, he just takes a bite.
Cool.
They're
so-
a gift. You should finish them.
So to Talasar, they just taste like pancakes. It's just for Loran and Norman, it wasn't what they wanted. But for you, it just tastes fine. It's pancakes.
Thank you.
Ah.
There's no thing.
No, I don't. I take them back. He enjoyed them. I'm like,
And I just look at Talasar and say, "Welcome back, Talasar."
is that scene, and you know, when It's Always Sunny, where Mac makes Dennis the mac and cheese, and he just fucks it down.
That's two
just
obviously
just keep an eye
references in one
contact with
episode.
Talasar and just.
You already had one.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
We can have more. Oh, good.
We can have plenty.
yeah.
You know? I mean, seriously, this whole
15 seasons.
this entire campaign should just be called "The Gang Fuck Up Wayne's Plans." You know, so
A DM's plans never survive a party.
yeah, and which is perfectly acceptable and okay. Right. So, what did the group want to do at this point? Talasar has poured out his heart and soul to you, told you his story, has offered you the solution of using this pendant.
I would like to share some of our adventures since we last saw Talasar, because he has been so open with us.
Sure.
I would like to, yeah. Go ahead, Archer. Sorry.
Well, as you can see, Talasar, a lot and nothing has changed, he says, pointing to those two.
Still wearing the shades.
What was that?
I love that he's still wearing the shades.
Cool, Norman.
Yeah.
We have travelled much since our last encounter with you. I myself find myself, albeit only recently, captain of the guard of Terrace Moor, following a vision I saw some time back. I thought it was the right thing to do when I defeated my predecessor in battle.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
I think it's a job title that might suit you.
I know from the physical point of view, I've totally got this down. But yeah, we'll see. If there's going to be a fight, I prefer to be in the thick of it, and maybe making orders this time will suit me better than taking them.
A piece of advice I may give that I was told is surround yourself with people who are better than you with other things, and you just concentrate on your strengths.
Well, I have to say, some of the soldiers that Terrace Moor have are exceptional. And I spent the night catching up on all the documents and diaries and schedules and everything I could find in relation to this position. And thankfully, my predecessor was quite anal as well, so I've got all that info. We have travelled to other parts of this realm. We have met some interesting people and creatures along the way, including some dragons. We got to fly them to the Black Asylum. I'm going to recount the trip with the Arun 5 and Arun.
that was fabulous. Arun was wonderful. He was like this tall. He was like real buff.
Of course, Loran starts gushing immediately.
Yeah,
saying-
well,
The
I'm
only thing, like, all of a sudden, Loran is extremely animated and into this conversation, and is very forthcoming with information about this.
Just
Ma-
for-
very
But only
buff,
about what a rune looks like.
yeah,
Yeah,
very
yeah.
buff, very square-jawed, very rugged-looking half-orc. Who's like, it seems to be that Loran is painting this picture of this action hero from the days of yore, who springs into action and seems to, in Loran's tales, consistently save Loran from danger. And
He carried me like this, and it was like, wow.
I blush slightly because I met him at a slightly thirsty period in my life, and I was like, oh. I've
So-
snapped out of it since.
And see, so for our viewers, obviously Tom has caught up as best as he can with the overall continuation of the campaign, and has watched the episodes as we've gone on. As best
Life
he
and a
could.
baby.
Yeah.
Also,
So-
something important. I had pizza yesterday, and I also got a new stick. And I show him the fancy cane stick that has loads of bite marks on it now from when we went to a mall. And he goes, "Yeah, I got a new stick as well." It's kinda
As you look
cool.
upon Ogun, he looks like a really wealthy Wolverine who's fallen on hard times. Because he's at one point these clothes were the greatest of finery, but now he looks like a hairy homeless bum with a stick.
Indeed.
Would you like some new clothes?
Hang on, what?
Or at least clean the ones he has.
Hang on, what?
Just
What are you on about? You've to clean these.
you just need a brief swim, Ogun. That's all I think.
So hang on, by clean do you mean like make them smell less?
Yes.
All right, give me a second. Wayne, I want to cast Druid Craft on myself, and I want to cover myself in mint flowers.
Perfect. So you all watch as Ogun's little form, he's sitting there and he starts to wave his claws in the air. And out of thin air, this spiraling kind of whisk of these green leaves just come into existence and start to plant themselves all around Ogun's body, weaving themselves into the threads of his clothes, into his buttonholes, stuffing his pockets, kind of tucked in around the neck. You actually then see a section of them weave themselves into his fur around his ears, kind of like a small mint crown. And above the stink, this beautiful, fresh smell of peppermint starts to fill your nostrils. As the leaves start to weave themselves in and out of his person.
How's that? Is that better?
Does it cover the smell entirely, or can you still
it's kind of like it's peppermint on top of wet dog, you know?
It's like when someone sprays the bathroom, it just smells like the woods with a shit in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the peppermint smell is pleasant, but if you sniff hard enough, you can still get the wet dog smell.
We'll
kinda-
talk about cleaning after.
Yeah. So
It's better than it was. right?
I tell Talasar that I know where the office is that he needs to go.
Let's try and see what happens. Just also to be aware that I've forgotten names already. That he had worked with a sect of sorcerers as well to cast these spells. So just be on your guard for anyone.
so you're talking about Arjun.
Yeah, Ardwin. Sorry, Ardwin worked with a sect of sorcerers to be able to prevent Festivus to enter Terrace Moor.
So who is going into Arduin's chambers at this point?
I'll go.
Obviously me.
Yeah, I'm gonna
And
go.
me,
When
obviously.
we're done, I'm gonna finish the job
Okay.
of burning the other half.
Okay. And Loran, what's Loran doing at this point?
Still trying to get into his Twitch.
I have been listening, however, I did miss a lot of the plot of the first bit of the episode, so
That's
I'm just
fine.
gonna say I'm good.
Okay.
I'm just gonna keep chilling.
Follow
So you're
up.
going to stay where you are.
What? Where are we?
So you're sitting in the main room that you would have been in previously, where that little fight that Archer undertook. So
Okay.
you're in the kind of the main banquet hall, which has now been made into a base of operations. You're sitting at the top of the set of steps to go up to the raised dais, at a table, all having breakfast. Well, the base of operations mills on around you, and the door to Arjun's chambers is kind of directly behind you, by about 30 feet, and then off to the left, then there's another door into the chambers that you went into with the kind of the town council or city council previously to have that conversation. So that's the general area that you're in. It's early morning. It's you're not used to being up this early. So it's about 10 o'clock in the morning. And there are people milling about. Breakfast has been had. People are clearing trays and long tables and stuff like that. And people are getting down to battle plans. And you see that there's individuals putting together maps and blueprints of, say, ballista and other things in the room, very close to you. So that's where you're at the moment.
Yeah, like this is super not his vibe. He doesn't want to be in the busy room.
Sure.
So he's just going to follow the squad with no real involvement, but just because there's nothing else to do.
Cool. As you get up, you notice off to the far side, at the entrance of the room that you went into with the town council, the door opens, Loran, and you see Swift exit and look over your direction. And he holds up what looks like a carafe of wine and 2 glasses and calls you over.
Yeah.
Norman, I'm going to step out for a bit. Enjoy your whole whatever this is.
Sure, yeah, why not?
I'm going to go get laid.
Enjoy your hole, more like, Lauren.
So...
No, it's very cool. You'd really like it. You should find someone. You know.
It's very cool.
It's very cool. I don't know. I mean, you and Claudine have that whole if you love her, if you hate her, you love her thing, right?
No, sadly, the first thing that falls off is always the genitals.
Oh, that's a bummer.
Oh, God.
Anatomically correct as a Ken doll.
Well, look, Codeine used to be, from moneyed people, and who knows what they're into. I mean,
yeah, and I mean, what that tongue do though, It's like...
Norman waggles his eyebrows, and one of his big black tentacles just and then goes back in.
I might actually hang out here. No, I'm gonna go to sleep.
Talasar, roll a perception check so you see that. Because you're
my
not
passive,
aware of this shit.
my passive is 16.
Yeah, you
I don't
couldn't
know
probably pick it up.
Yeah, I'll take my passive if that's all right.
So Talasar, as you're getting up from the table, you see Loran and Norman conversing, and all of a sudden that happens, and Norman's mouth opens wide, and this large tentacle swicks out real quick and kind of licks the air and straight back in again, and you're kind of like, what the fuck was that?
That's just
new.
what corpses do.
Yeah, that's what bodies do.
Have you never seen a body before?
Someone's going to need to explain what's going on with this one.
He's got a few more elements.
We'll explain on the way.
It's not important.
Okay.
No, it's not important. Not really anything you should concern yourself with, stranger.
We're not strangers, Lauren. Jesus.
Why do you know my name?
He knew my name as well. It's very odd.
Talasar, I'll fill you in on our walk.
Thanks.
Yeah, let's do it.
So, Loran, you turn and go off towards where Swift is now. Yeah?
Wait, 1 sec. I wouldn't tell him all of your business if I were you. I don't trust him for some reason. I feel like I've seen him before. I can't put my finger on it, but I don't trust him.
I don't know. I'm sort of past the point of secrecy at this stage. I've kind of moved beyond the whole hiding things, and now I just want to get home or die. So I'll tell anyone. I don't mind. Got that millennial mindset to go with the new body,
I feel that. Mood.
All right.
Get home or die. Get home or die.
That's going on a t-shirt.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that'd be a good t-shirt. Picture of Loran, get home or die, or not Loran, of Norman, get home or die.
Right.
All right, no worries.
No.
Norman follows the rest of you as he dabs, and
Loran doesn't floss, and then
I floss away with Swift. Yeah.
I bet you floss away with Swift.
Oh yeah.
So Loran heads off with Swift after flossing and dabbing and stuff, and then the group then kind of in their little clumps make their way towards the back of the room and towards Arduin's chambers. I'm going to go with the group first, Loran, and then I'll get to you in 2 seconds and give you time
I'm good.
Get yourself sorted with the Twitch thing. The group then slowly but surely make their way into Arduin's chambers, which are in a complete disarray. They haven't been attended to since yesterday. There's the smell of burned wood and acrid stench of smoke fills your nostril as you enter in. You can see that one half of the room to the back and the main area where this table used to be and up along the back wall are covered in singe and burn marks. And there's cinders and charcoal everywhere in that general area. The carpet is halfway burnt off to the right-hand side of the room. There are piles of ash that used to be large clumps of scrolls and books and all sorts. Then at the back of the room off to the right, there's still some kind of furniture intact, large bookcases, some trinkets on a table and a cabinet to one side, all manner of different shapes and sizes. There's a couple of remaining pieces of furniture, one or two chairs that are kind of tipped over and pushed to one side. The smell that's in here is kind of like, like after a bonfire goes out at Halloween and it's kind of damp and down, and it's still kind of, you can taste it in the back of your mouth, but it's filling the air because there's no real proper ventilation here, so I have nowhere to go to swirl around. Parts of it's a bit foggy off in the left hand corner as well because there's still a few smouldering pieces of burnt wood and furniture that was left over from Norman's fire that he kind of started. And then you see the entrance to the kind of tunnels that both Norman and Cody went down, and Ogun went down.
There's a candle and a crowbar.
Candle and a crowbar.
Wait, didn't Ogun pick up the candle and crowbar because he thought it was us?
Yeah, he thought you guys had been
That's
polymorphed
right.
into a candle and a crowbar.
I forgot to give them back to you.
Talasar, I was tossing things out of my inventory to show the group where I'd gone. I was doing it in kind of alphabetical order, and Ogun thought we'd been transformed into those items. Also, I like that Talasar. Yeah, I love that Talasar went away as one kind of metaler and came back as the other kind of metaler. And
Yeah,
Candle and Crowbar is the name of his band. So
that's a great name for a
That
band.
is
Yeah.
a fantastic name.
I have to laugh.
also
I can't remember who it was, but one of the viewers commented on YouTube thinking that it was some reference to Clue or Cluedo.
yeah.
So it's Arduin Carrick the Black in his study with the candle and the crowbar.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
But
It's
yeah. So
What happened in this room? Why is it burnt to cinder?
I was trying to find a door.
Is Norman with us?
Norman's
Yeah.
with you, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. What did you say, Norman?
I was trying to find a door.
And you thought burning everything would help?
Seemed
Well,
like
it-
the best
it
thing to do at the
It
time.
actually
TBH.
worked.
What did you say?
he uncovered the secret exit, so it did actually work. But he just said TBH because Norman is cool now, and I don't know how much of this I can stand. I love it and hate it with equal degree, and
Okay,
keep it
Boomer.
coming. Also,
you are all starting to notice that the new body is starting to inhabit Norman's personality a bit more, and
oh no,
it's adding weird quirks to his personality. Whereas before he was a very stoic, gravelly, kind of standoffish kind of dude who had no problem telling people to go fuck themselves. He's now a very snarky, up their own arse and entitled little fuck who has no problem telling people to go fuck themselves.
He's basically Baby Groot.
He can be. Yeah.
He's teenage Groot.
Teenage.
Teenage,
It's all ahead of you,
yeah.
Tom. It's all ahead of you.
So,
And you.
Yeah,
Black
no,
guy
it's already
can do
gotten
this
here for me. I have a 3-year-old daughter who's actually 15. So,
With amazing side eye.
with amazing side eye.
amazing.
So,
did Arduin the Black not torch his own gaff?
Can I just have both so I can make two tiny?
no, that was Norman. So,
Oh, right. That explains. But it doesn't explain anything really. Okay.
What did or did I not do?
I thought your man burned the place because he was hiding something.
Oh no, that was me because I was trying to
Oh.
find a door.
Well, it worked then.
It did.
So was
Yep.
this secret door, does it lead to anywhere?
It leads outside into a forest.
Several miles
Yeah.
outside the city.
So this is his office. Was
Yep.
it? Can I make an investigation or did
Yeah.
he leave any notes or any kind of books or anything that
roll
may have...
investigation, yeah, if you wish, yeah.
Oh, natural 20
Yay!
for a total of 21.
Grant, it's yeah. You start to look around the room for any kind of information that you can find, and with a natural 20, you don't find any notes or you don't find any books because a lot of it's been destroyed in the fire. But what you do find, as you're kind of going off to the right-hand side of the room, where there's a large bookcase, and you're kind of sifting through the books, and as you're pulling out one of the larger tomes, you're...
That's what I was going to say. I was going to look for something like a bit of breeze underneath.
Yeah. So you hear a click, and then there's like a kind of a sliding sound and a thunk, and you look over on the far wall, on the left-hand side of the room where it's been severely burnt, a large panel of the wall of the stonework slides aside as if it's fake, and you see a kind of an indentation in the room or in the wall, and there's like a gap, and there's a slight glow coming out of it. Norman, straight away, your arcane senses peak, and you can sense that there's magic emanating from that area.
Pretty sus, guys.
Oh my god.
Who's the imposter?
It's definitely one of them.
Can I do? Is it like a narrow slit that opened up, or was it?
No, you're talking about it's at least a 1 foot by 2 foot. It's like a rectangle shape on the wall. So one of the big large bricks on the wall kind of like pushed forward and then slid over, and it's a fake section in the wall that's opened up after you pulling open the thing.
Can I peer in to see what I can see, or?
And you can make your way over to and you look in, and you see that inside there is what looks like a large purple crystalline shape, kind of like not too similar to a dodecahedron shape. As it kind of sits, it's about the size. It's a fist-sized crystal, and it's glowing purple with a swirling, emanating energy from the center of it.
Can I reach in to try and move it, or does it look like it's fixed in where it is?
It's sitting on a little kind of like a little platform, little plinty area thing. Yeah.
Fuck it, I'm just going to reach in and try and grab it.
Okay. You reach your hand in, and as you reach your hand in, there's a large flash and a spark, and you push backwards, and you take 2 points of 2 points of damage. It's like necrotic damage. Sorry, 2 points of necrotic damage.
Ooh.
Hey, Talasar, you're gonna have to be more careful with them limbs.
I take out. I presume I still have the standard retractable quarterstaff.
Yeah.
I'm going to take that out and try and use that to move it out without actually touching it with my hands.
And same thing happens, and there's a crackle, and the energy just flashes down the staff, and you take further 4 points of necrotic damage.
Jesus.
Right. Okay. What can we do to get this thing out? Actually, I hold out the amulet and hold it towards it. Does it react?
As soon as you take out the amulet and move it towards it, there's a large pulse of red energy that emanates from the amulet. And the closer you move it, it starts to crackle. And then all of a sudden, there's like and this small beam and flash of kind of arcing energy reaches out from the pendant as it rocks back and forth on the chain and strikes the front section of where this dodecahedron shape is. And you see this kind of purplish reddish flash as what looks like some form of magical force field just dissipating and sparks.
Did anything else happen to the dodeca?
No, it's still there glowing, but there seemed to have been some form of shielding at the front of it, a magic kind of shield in front of it that has now been dispelled by the amulet.
Okay, I reach in the third time to try and grab it.
And you gingerly reach out as your fingers go through and pass through where they were previously. Then you go to put your fingers around the shape.
And you hit the mysterious second layer of shielding.
and your new arm gets blown apart. No.
Oh no.
your fingers grasp around it and you start to feel like a tingle. Like you're touching one of those electricity balls, like the giant electricity, like the Zoom balls, what they call. And you kind of feel a tingle up your arm as you kind of pluck it out from the mini flint that it's on. You hold it in your hand, You do feel a kind of an arcade pulse emanating. Now, which hand are you holding it in? Are you holding it in your prosthetic?
Please say you're using the prosthetic.
I'm using the prosthetic arm.
Okay. Holding it in your prosthetic arm, you notice that the runes on the arm start to kind of spark a slight bit, and you see a purple energy move down the arm, like little veiny bits come down the arm and start to kind of spark. They go down about halfway down your forearm as you're holding this thing, and it starts to kind of slightly heat up. Not unbearable, but there is a fair bit of energy emanating off this thing.
I find a table or something that I can put it on, something that I can lay it down flat.
You move back over to where you were previously, next to where the bookshelf was, and there is a kind of a side table. And what are the rest of you all doing while this is happening?
Watching.
Watching?
Yeah, pretty much watching.
Yeah, you're getting
like
bunked.
in awe of whatever's going on here.
Family show.
Never said
Oh
that.
my
It
God.
certainly
Never.
is not a family show. This is not a family show. Let's get that out of the way now. If you haven't caught on by now, what, 13 episodes in? This is not a family show. So, yes. You place it down on the side table off next to where that bookshelf was. You kind of clear a path of all these different trinkets and doodads that are just rested on the table. You place it down in front on the table itself. And it's still kind of glowing. But as you take your hand away, you see sparks of purple energy just kind of arcing from the end of your fingers, and you slowly pull your hand away. And there's like a... as it then sits there kind of rocking back and forth from the energy discharge and then settles.
I tell everybody to stand close to the door away from where this is as I take a step back, and you notice I have tattoos on the other arm that I use to invoke basically an inky black arm that stretches out a further 30 feet. And I use that arm with the quarterstaff to drop the amulet over the dodeca. So basically I'm standing 30 feet away from the dodeca, holding with a magical arm, holding out the quarterstaff, gently resting the amulet over the dodeca or near the dodeca.
So you all watch from the doorway. That's where you're all standing. Normally, you choosing to do what he asks?
Oh no, I'm like, I'm gonna stand next to the thing. I'm like looking at, I'm like checking it out.
Okay. Do you want to roll?
Staring
If
at
you,
the sun, like,
yeah, I'll allow you to roll an investigation or an arcana check or whatever the hell you want if you want to look at this thing.
And like every so often, while Talasar is like just trying to do his very important work, like the staff just keeps like nudging me in the side of the head.
I was only thinking the same thing. Like you're gonna just feel a little kind of poke every so often.
Even though this is a magical scenario, Aratir has instinctively equipped her battle axe and ushered Codeine and Ogun behind her at the doorway. She's just like, fuck this.
Must protect.
Must protect.
Okay, so did you roll anything there, Norman?
Did you say an investigation check?
You can do either investigation or arcana check, whatever you want to do yourself.
Okay, it's a 15. So
15. So you, as you're looking at it, you kind of suss it out, and even with the pokes in the side of your head, as both the quarterstaff and the other amulet kind of knocks off the side of them, you're like, ow, ow. You're looking at it, you can kind of
the
suss
glasses
out
are like
this.
knocked slightly off.
Yeah, just like this on your head. But you can you get the feeling that you recognize this as some form of barrier spell. It seems to be something that blocks teleportation of a certain type into the city, and you seem to think that this might be what, if you recollect, if you wear this thing, this seems to be that's what it does. You can't remember whether Talasar was saying this is something that needs to be done or not, but this seems to be something that you need to look at, and that's what this particular item is there to do. As Talasar reaches out, you all watch as he reaches out his arm, and the tattoos all swirl and join together and form at his wrist, and his own hand is covered in black ink, seems to swell, and then from his fingertips, this large kind of arc of swirling blackness forms in this like long, it's like it's extending his forearm, and at the end of it, it forms this large inky black hand that then reaches out and grabs his quarterstaff and picks up the amulet by the end of it and reaches forward and drops it down on top of the purple shape, right next to Norman's head. And there is a blinding flash of energy, and the entire room is filled with light, and you all feel yourself knocked backwards. And that is where we're going to take a break.
That blinding flash could have really hurt if I didn't have my protection.
Oh my God!
And we have the Who don't. Won't get fooled again.
Okay. Let's we'll all take a break there, and we'll return shortly, where we will announce the winners of our 2 prizes. Thank you to Dublin City Comics for this. So we are giving away a copy of The Descent into Avernus and The Explorer's Guide to Wildmount. We will pick 2 winners from our comment section on YouTube, and we will get this out to you ASAP in the post. And then we will ask you the question for the winner to win this in our next episode. We announce the winner for this one in the next episode. Thank you again to Dublin City Comics for our sponsors, for their sponsorship. Check them out at dublincitycomics.ie. They will deliver to your house. And go check out their website. They've got all manner of stuff up there: comic books, action figures, Gundam, hot toys, huge selection of collectibles.
Coffee.
Cannot recommend them enough.
And Coffee and Gundam.
Yeah, they also do have the Coffee and Gundam store. Coffee and Gundam is doing takeaway coffee at the moment, and all the Gundam you order from Dublin City Comics comes from the Coffee and Gundam store. So, folks, we are going to take a break. We're going to go have some lunch, and we will be back shortly with the winners of 2 prizes and the question to for who can win this. So, folks, we will see you shortly. Welcome back, folks. We had a break. We are back. We are now going to jump straight into the giveaways, thanks to Dublin City Comics, who you can check out at dublincitycomics.ie. So, for the giveaway for these 2 books, we have the Baldur's Gate: Descent into Avernus and Explorer's Guide to Wildmount. So, for the winner of the Baldur's Gate: Descent into Avernus, can somebody, let me see now. Tom, since you're back, roll a d20, actually. Roll d20.
And number 14.
And the winner is Bob Hoyne. Bob Hoyne. Berserker Battle Axe is the answer for that question. So the question was, what type of axe did Aratir pick up following the defeat of the captain of the guards? It was the Berserker Battle Axe. So,
would you like to guess my axe, Berserker?
So this will be winging its way to you, Bob, Baldur's Gate: Descent into Avernus. Now, we have somebody else to roll now. Norman, Ryan, please roll a d20.
2.
2.
Oh shit, roll, mate.
The winner is Sean Dunn.
Hey!
Sean, you win the Explorer's Guide to Wildmount. That'll be winging its way to you. So we'll be reaching out to both of these winners via social media or through email or whatever to congratulate them and tell them that they've won, and we'll get their address off them and send this out to them. So hopefully by the time this episode goes out, they'll be aware that they've won, and those prizes are going out to you guys ASAP. Now, the Icewind Dale, this is a fantastic book, by the way, but the Icewind Dale, Rime of the Frost Maiden, let's see now. This is the prize. Thank you to Dublin City Comics for this. They shipped this out to me basically in the last 48 hours. It arrived at my doorstep just in time for this episode. So this prize is this month's prize, and the question for this is, and I'm just going to just cite this here now. So, what is the name of the main character? And Darren, keep your mouth shut. What is the name of the main character from the R.A. Salvatore books based upon a particular drow? What is the main character's name in those books? Please type that below in the comments and share the video on social media, be it on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, whatever. and tag Irish Pubcast. You have to tag Irish Pubcast. You have to share the video on social media. You can't just answer the question down below. You have to share the video.
Yeah.
So what is the name of the main character in Leora Salvatore's series of books based on a particular drow? And this book, which has got links to Icewind Dale, by the way, it's got links to, that's the reason why I asked the question. To Rhymes of the Frost Maiden.
I'm looking forward to looking through it just for that.
Yeah. So this book can be yours. You just need to answer below, share the video on social media, and tag Irish Pubcast. And this book, we will announce the winner of this particular tome on the next episode, episode 14 of Pubcast Plays Dungeons and Dragons. So thank you so much to Dublin City Comics for their sponsorship, their continued sponsorship. Check them out at dublincitycomics.ie. They will deliver directly to your homes. And you can reach out to them on social media. You can find them on social media as well, on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, and follow them. Fantastic store, great support from the local nerd community here in Ireland. And we have actually sent prizes from this show, thanks to them, further afield. There's been some prizes have gone to the States. So they're reaching out there. So without further ado, we're going to jump back into the adventure, and we're going to take up straight away with Loran. We're going to leave the rest of the group hanging for a couple of minutes to figure out what happened to them in the last part of the story. But we're going to start back in with Loran, who has left the group to go investigate Arduin's quarters. Loran saw Swift off to one side, gesturing to him, holding up a carafe of wine and some glasses as they headed into.
I love that it's like 9 in the morning and it's like wine.
Oh no, it's 10:30. It's 10:30.
Half 10.
It's
What happens at
It's about half 10-ish. There's no harm in wine in the morning.
It's a trap!
In the fantasy world, you can drink wine anytime.
I thought you said that was going to be the end. In the fantasy world, you can drink wine.
It's 5 p.m. somewhere.
Yeah,
it is,
and Aratir had ale with breakfast, so
Exactly. Yeah. That's the beautiful thing. There's no what's the word I'm looking for?
No drink shaming.
No drink shaming, and no real world hang-ups about having the odd seasoned grape with your breakfast cheese. Okay, so Loran, you make your way over towards Swift as he motors you into the room that you were in previously for the kind of the group session where you met with the town council or the city council. You go back into the room, it's pretty much unchanged. There's a long couch on one side, there's a couple of chairs on the other. The back of the room is lined with books. There are a couple of stools here and there. Swift walks over and places the carafe down and then starts to pour out 2 glasses and kind of gestures to a chair or the couch or whatever. He's like, "Good morning. I see that your group has gathered once again and seems to be discussing matters of great urgency from the looks on all your faces."
Yes, it's all a bit too big, a bit too big and too much for me, really. What's your take on this whole business?
Well, he kind of grins slyly and kind of looks around the room and says, I've been elevated from a not so small but a medium-sized business tailor to a member of the city council. It is quite the change for me as well. I mean, I can't lie. It's not as if I haven't had other avenues of adventure in my life. I've lived quite the time, and this is just another stepping stone as I go along in this path. But I find it intriguing. It's not somewhere I expected to find myself in a place of authority. I'm usually more used to being in the background or the shadows, if you will.
Yeah, I mean, like, do you even really want to be involved in all this?
It intrigues me. So
From what angle?
I seem to now have influence on events, which is something I'm not used to.
That's hot.
So, as a member of the council, I can move a piece here, move a piece there. It's intriguing to say the least.
Answer me this. Oh no, go on.
Well, I was going to say you don't seem to be the type that would find himself in this type of a situation often.
Oh, never, actually. This is so not my ball game. I'm just going along with them because not much else to do and nowhere else to go, apparently. Were there a way to be not involved, I would take it. However, I wonder, bless their souls, especially the likes of like Aratir and whatever, they're very idealistic. They really think they can make a difference, but honestly, they're all just going to get their asses handed to them and we're all going to die. So I feel like it's just better to watch things play out.
So you don't think they stand a chance of making any effort against the
God,
forces that fight us?
not really. I mean, as Darcy has said, he's tried this a load of times, and why should this time work?
Interesting. So you've resigned yourself to die?
Not die. I've a few plan Bs for sure, but I'm definitely not going to rush into the heat of battle.
Well, yes. I mean, but for the short time I've known you, I've seen you fight, or else I've been in a fighting vicinity of you. You can hold your own. If you
Well,
wish
not
to.
really. I have 2 spells, and one makes a tiny hut, and the other can write something in the sky. So, and in another fight, I just played dead until it was over.
If I'm not mistaken, did you not charm the captain or former captain of the guards,
Oh, well, probably, yes.
leaving them to be pretty much defenseless?
Well, yes, I suppose I can do that, but... Oh, I don't know, that's very small fry.
You seem to be either not willing to commit yourself or not being aware of yourself of having ability outside of, you think, 2 spells. You can
No.
be, and I speak from my own experience, you can be quite persuasive.
I can be. However, I don't do very well when I'm left to my own devices. I like having a good, reasonable, sound mind to guide me in the right direction. Norman's been very helpful in that regard. After that whole business with my ex, and I was a bit lost for a while, and well, it's good to have someone else to kind of look out for me.
And might I be so bold as to ask, do you not think that this group of individuals you find yourself accompanying, do they not look out for you?
Maybe Aratir a bit.
It's curious because the reason I asked you here, and the reason I figured you might
Very different people, Swift. A lot of them. I mean, Ogun's sweet, but he's filthy. I've no intention of spending that much time around.
Oh, the
him.
hairy creature, the small little
Yes.
dog thing. Yes, I mean, very, very pungent. I agree.
Yes, and Cody, and well, I mean, she's the most untrustworthy thing I've ever come across. Aratir, as I said, sweet. I don't know the monk, and Norman is my best friend.
Indeed, but you seem to have gotten to know them quite well, so to even give this kind of a account of their character, and you've travelled this far, I'm at a loss to wondering if you're fighting 2 minds as to whether you should or should not be involved in all of this. You keep telling people, or me in particular right now, that you want to leave and go, but yet you still stay.
Well, like I said, I don't know where else to go, really. I wanted to go home, but apparently I can't. And, well, the alternative was the creepy city of bones that my ex-husband built for me, and that was horrible. Terrible place.
Yes, that doesn't sound very...
No. It was actually, the rooms were actually not that bad. Some of them were all right, but the vibe was just off. But honestly, I kind of just want to go home to my mommy and daddy and just live a very comfortable, happy little life again.
Well...
But I don't want to work for it. I just want to be there.
I see. Well, that might put a stop in some of the plans, I suppose, but I have come into possession of some information that
Uh-huh.
maybe you're not the person to give it to, I suppose. I was under the impression that you were here willingly and were willing to fight, but clearly you don't sound like you are, and you're just a victim of circumstance.
I definitely am a victim of circumstance. Definitely that. But I mean, we'll see what happens. Like I said, I've got some plan Bs. I've got some notions. They might not be exactly what the group want, but I mean, everyone's got to look out for themselves in situations like this, right?
Well, currently, right now, it's all hands on deck, as the saying would go, I suppose, but your hands seem to be quite self-serving from what you're telling me.
Well, yes.
Okay, well, you see, what I've been put in charge of here in the city, and I've become quite adept at it in the last month or two, I am the master of spies.
Right.
It's what I had been doing in a past life, one could say, and my network has uncovered some information. But I'm at two minds now to disclose it to yourself or maybe speak to one of your colleagues.
I mean, it's up to you. Like I said, I'm not working against them either. I'm just not exactly willing to die by their side, you know? I can still give them the info, but
Well, the information is, well, I suppose it turns out that we have the location of the supposed necromancer
oh yeah.
and a couple of his followers. It is believed that the former viceroy was trying to escape to Breshton. So I sent a couple of my people, to investigate the town, or what was left of it, as it currently sits as a crater in the landscape of our realm.
Yeah, pretty grim.
And in the absence of Breshton, something is growing in its place.
Oh.
From the mines below, there seems to be a large configuration of crystalline, one can only say buildings of such, or dwellings, that seem to house a substantial amount of a armed force that has been led by this necromancer, who is at this very moment there. And,
Okay.
and you weren't here for the original battle that we had to face. And we very nearly lost, but at the last minute something happened. You see, we were attacked by what we thought were the main forces of this necromancer. They were a horde of crystalline entities. Upon closer inspection, seem to have been infected populace of Breshton.
Right.
And we managed to capture one or two of them. And we have been studying them in one of the laboratories in the depths of the dungeons that we have here. And at the climax of the battle, something strange happened. They all buried themselves in the ground.
Relatable. Go on.
And stopped fighting. They literally buried themselves. It confused everyone. We did not expect it. We were trying to fight off a horde. And then the guards, myself, I was on the east battlements, commanding one of the forces.
Yeah.
And I looked out and saw them digging and then covering themselves in dirt and muck and the bodies of their fallen comrades, I suppose, or fellow horde members. They're still out there, buried.
Okay.
And what these spies that came from Breshton have told me is that there is still more of them there that seem more empowered with this red crystalline energy. So you can understand why the city is on edge, because we still have an army of enemies on our doorstep, literally
Mhm.
buried on our doorstep. And with
Mm.
the information that this necromancer is so close, we have two options. We can strike now and hope to take him out, or we can try and destroy this army where they lay, in the very ground of Terrace Moor.
I see.
But from what you're telling me, this may not be something that you yourself may want to undertake. And I may have to speak to your colleagues and see if they wish to. Well, clearly the captain would have to be
Yes, well,
informed.
she's very good at this sort of thing. She'll know what to do. She's very good at the hitting and the fighting, and she looks very good doing it. It's very impressive. But as for me, honestly, I would just flip a coin. So I'm not exactly going to be the most helpful when it comes to this advice. So to be honest, I thought you were inviting me in here for a bit more of a social, physical catch up. And
I think we were both misled in our findings. I believed you to be an active physical member of your group, considering how much you helped in the fight with the captain of the guards. I was mistaken.
That was a very, very long time ago, and the thing is,
That was yesterday.
Wait, what? Oh, that one. What did I do in that fight? I don't know if I did much.
He charms the captain of the guards.
Oh, that charm. Yeah.
And basically stood them still so everyone else could just go,
Yeah,
and then they died.
Teamwork shame him.
You made them dance on. You basically made the captain of the guards, this giant Goliath person, dance on the spot, and then your colleagues took them down. You were extremely vital in that fight. So
I was just I was very tired and exhausted from all the fighting, and I was just sick of it all, and I just wanted it all to stop, so I just made him dance.
Yes.
I think you believe me to be something I'm not, Swift, and
really?
I am sorry to disappoint you. My loyalties are not of this, I guess, world, whatever Dacia says. I'm not. It's hard to follow these days.
It's very confusing in parts, and this is even more confusing to me.
In fairness, we haven't really talked that much, so I don't know why you think you know me well enough to judge.
This is true, and I seem to have made a misjudgment completely, and it's on me for that one, for sure. I apologize if you believe I invited you in here for more than just a conversation.
Yeah, no.
He waggled his carafe. We all saw it.
Like, I mean, you appear out of a bedroom door with 2 glasses of wine and go...
This isn't a bedroom. This is a library. This is the private library of what used to be the Viceroy.
Library, bedroom, whatever. You can do it anywhere if you're brave enough.
Clearly. And that carafe could be anything if we're brave enough. But, that being said, I made mistakes. You made mistakes. Mistakes were made. I've made misjudgments on everyone's character, it seems.
Swift, I'm willing to forgive, forget, put all this behind us. Mistakes were made. Fine, no misjudgments. I mean, and I don't want you to take this the wrong way.
Uh-oh.
I just don't really think maybe we should see each other anymore. There's clearly a big, disconnect in our...
It says a lot for me in my own personal judgment as the master of spies that I completely misjudged your character. And I'm kind of in a moment of self-doubt right now. So yes, maybe you should go about your day the way you should go about your day in your own self-reverence.
Yeah.
And I should stay here and finish this wine. And at that moment...
I'm going to take my wine with me.
That's fine. It's perfectly fine.
And maybe they should get a master of spies, one who is good at judging characters.
Okay.
I'm just joking. I'm sure you're good at your job.
Quite shady. And at that very moment, then you hear like a muffled from like the back of the room, and a couple of the books on the shelves kind of like bang loose, and then a few fall off and hit the floor with a thud and flop open. And you kind of Swift kind of is like, "What the?" And he looks around, he's like, "You felt that, right?"
So you're telling me you're a master of spies and you've got spies infesting your little spy library? That's hilarious.
No, there was something happened in one of the adjacent rooms. There was some form of arcane explosion. And he kind of stands up and he kind of puts his glass of wine down and rushes past you, and then opens the door. You can either come with me or you can stay here. And I'm going to find out what that noise was. And he rushes out of the room. So Loran can decide to follow if you want.
Yeah, he's gonna act nonchalant about it, like he's not that invested. You know?
Just kind of saunter
Like,
through the
whatever, like, I'm
door.
doing this because I want to, not because you told me.
Just kind of saunter through, swinging the glass of wine.
That tracks. That's perfectly in character with Loran. So we flash back to the other room, literally, as you all find yourselves knocked off your feet, completely knocked back. The trio of you that were in the doorway, are two of you, like Ogun and Codeine, are knocked back through the doorway now into the corridor. Aratir is knocked off her feet, knocked onto her knees and kind of leaning against the doorframe, with her great axe keeping you up. Norman, you are completely blasted across the other side of the room, and basically pulled up against the wall. You take 2 points of bludgeoning damage as your body is thrust and impacted up against the far wall with and then you just slide down. Oh God. And Talasar, you're completely knocked off your feet and find yourself kind of skidding into a pile of ash and charcoal. And it's a blinding light that fills the room. And as you all kind of come to your senses and you look up, you see this lone robed figure standing where the side table used to be, which has now been blown in half. And you see this male figure in dark crimson robes, holding a staff. His head completely shaven, ridges across all of his face, and his eyes are bright red orbs. And straight away, Talasar, you recognize the form of Vestivus as he stands there in front of you all. Swift rushes into the room, and about 3 minutes later, very leisurely, Loran strolls in, still holding a glass of wine. Vestivus is looking around you all and looks down at Talasar and he's like, "My friend, you have succeeded in your task." And he nods.
He's got an awful creepy voice.
I'm going to growl at him.
I agree. His voice is very creepy and unsettling.
As you.
I get up and I clasp his shoulder and sing, "Welcome back."
It is good to be home. I want to thank you all for allowing this to happen. And I am here to help you as best I can and answer any questions you have about my involvement in all of this, as well as that pig who just Dacius Trevelian.
Oh, I like this guy.
Wait,
Dacius is here, Festivus.
He is. And he has this look of disdain just spread across his very lined face. Like you can see the age on this individual. He definitely looks like he's been through the wars. Even though his robes are fine, which are, like I said, they're deep crimson. His staff is a long wooden, seems to be bent crooked in certain places, with a large kind of red orb encased in what looks like a clasped wooden hand at the top. His hand gripped around it, bony fingers, a long kind of rugged face. Like he at one point he was a handsome individual, but the years have starting to take their toll. Deep lines across his forehead, and his large red, like pure solid red eyes, and kind of high cheekbones that they kind of sink slightly into his face. He has a kind of a very prominent nose, and a thin mouth that kind of stretches across his face. He looks like he's seen a lot of shit, basically.
To be fair, yes.
We find ourselves in a situation that must be acted upon quickly if we are to survive. What do the rest of you do at this point?
I just want to know what Swift's reaction is to seeing Festivus.
Swift is like just looking back and forth, and with a look of complete shock on his face. He's kind of taking everything in, looking around the chamber, looking at this individual that's just appeared in the thin air. And roll your passive insight will be yours. Your perception, and roll an insight check for me there, Talasar.
Insight. That's not great. 11.
Your insight is +3, so sorry. Your passive insight is 13.
No, my passive insight is 13. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
So I rolled 13. I was looking at investigation.
Granted. So you can see an obvious look of distrust across Swift's face, but he's taking everything in, and he has kind of taken a step back, is looking around at the group, and including Aratir, that the city is now entrusted its safety in, seem to have now summoned this individual, who, upon hearing the name Festivus, is very much what the fuck. Festivus has then basically said, like, he'll answer the questions. We need to move quickly. So what are the group doing at this point?
I ask Talasar where he thinks we're going next.
It's Festivus who has to guide us now. He got me to this point. I'm just at the same as you. Festivus, what is the next step here?
Well, I need to discover what do you know. You have been told many a story and many a tale that may not collaborate with each other, but the situation we find ourselves in right now is dire. Koval is close. He is nearby and controls a vast army of pure concentrated evil. And my investigations tell me that Skranik is here on this realm and is helping Koval to achieve his final goal of shaping this world the way he sees it, which would eradicate all life, would snuff us out in an instant.
Why this realm, Festivus? Is it every realm ultimately? Why this one in particular?
This world was created through a arcane mishap, if you will.
Okay.
A situation arose following a battle with Skranik, and Koval switched sides, and we were transported here. Myself and Trevelyan were changed, made immortal, forced to watch this creature try and infest this pocket universe and create their own world. I fought back. I created this. And he gestures all around at generally the room, but I created Talasar out of nothing. I built a safe haven for the individuals that found themselves living here, unwillingly forced to be transported to this world from a large chunk of what was our previous plane of existence. They were transported here against their will and forced to live in this world. I gave them Talasar. I brought them here, built this city, and kept them safe. Trevelyan, in his hubris, believed he could fight against Koval and make right the wrongs he had created. He went off and tried to find adventurers that were willing to sacrifice themselves and fight this evil. He failed multiple times. And only now, with all of you, have we gotten to a point that we may stand a chance. Although I believe it is a slim chance.
Why do you believe us to have a chance? What resources do you think are available to us?
Oh,
It is
dashing
not.
good luck.
Well, it seems to be whatever brought you together, your ability to overcome great peril, as well as you have already, and I have watched. I sent you on a path to the place called Hendricks Point to test you, and forgive me for doing such a thing, but it was necessary to see. You quelled one of Koval's disciples, the demon or lesser demon known as Valak, was one of his followers, and you vanquished him. Many have tried in the past to vanquish Valak and force him into the light to show what the creature he really is, but none have done what you have done.
Wait, my Valak.
Indeed.
Would you say our greatest strength is teamwork? Glares at Loran and Norman. Glares.
Have we ever been anything like? What have we done to like? You know, we've never broken up the party or gone against the interests of the party.
Not for lack of trying.
I say now is not the time for any petty squabbles or any petty infighting. We need now to unite.
You don't even know us.
You
Who
don't.
are you?
You don't even go here.
The two of you saw me lose a fucking arm and get thrown through a
That
fucking
doesn't
portal.
Well,
That could be anyone.
I thought he was
Talasar.
meant to be a Zen kind of guy. Now he's
Talasar, please be peaceful. Be peaceful. We need to stick together on this one, and I need you to be cohesive.
You have an arm though. Look at it.
It's right there. You've clearly got two. He's got
Yes, you've got to
Lying.
appreciate as well that the unification you're asking of us, you and Talasar are asking of us, you're the bad guy at the moment. We're going to have hell of a job convincing people that you're on our side.
And this is true.
Yeah,
And
you are definitely that evil guy, right?
I am not evil. I have undertaken some. I have undertaken some questionable choices for sure.
Haven't we all?
Indeed.
Yeah,
And-
I did my makeup to look like the dog from The Shining, so that was the choice.
In this world, it is not all black and white. There is a lot of gray, and I live primarily in the gray area.
50 Shades of it. Oh,
Okay.
no, I'll snuffle you.
Skronik. We've got Skronik on the bad side. We've got Festivus on the good side. Yeah, we've got Brevik.
Remick is Festivus's.
Frederick is
Yeah.
best as his right-hand man.
Yeah.
He is the Riker to Picard.
Yes. Is he coming back for this?
You don't know.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
Festivus turns to all of you, kind of gesturing outward. He's like, I totally understand that you do not trust me. And I do not ask you to fully trust me. Please be on your guard at all times. But
I don't miss you.
I am coming here to you now with my hands open. I am offering you my help to quell Koval. So we need to quell Koval. That could be a t-shirt. Who knows? Right now, he is the one threat to this universe. And if all of you want to return to a peaceful time, and he looks over at Norman and Moran, and return home, the only way we can do that is by stopping him and Slavic. They are the reason for all of this. And you can either trust Trevelyan, or you can try and trust me. I offer my help. I offer my information. and I offer my power to you and to your cause.
Right, but the thing is, you're all like, oh, we could have a chance because of us and blah, blah, blah. But, like, why don't we go on a big old recruiting campaign and get people who are way more qualified? Like, you know who was very good at things? Arun. I think we should get him back. And,
Of course you do, Loran.
well, he was very good and he came with a crew. That's just a bonus. And the little one was very good, wasn't he?
The one you styled.
Yes. What a lovely little chap. And I mean, Aratira, you've probably got other buff friends that you do buff things with, and like, Codeine probably knows some untrustworthy people. I don't know. The monk probably does something.
Certainly. It depends.
And rally up all of the wildlife, and it'll be really cool. And then now they can all do all the heavy lifting.
As long as you don't have to do it, right?
Yes.
You're just afraid of what might happen if we fail.
Well, I'm not afraid of it. I'm aware of it.
Do you not think it's worth a chance for you to go home, Loran?
I would like to, for sure. But like I said, I just think we're thinking too small. I don't see where it has to rest on our shoulders. Why can't we make this a big continent-wide thing? Recruit as many people as possible.
We're
Triple our chances.
we're the devil you know at the moment, Loran, and we're a pretty formidable team. I remember you in that arena that time. It was pretty good.
Which time?
The
time you played Dead.
The time I
Yeah.
played Dead. Yeah,
Yeah.
and didn't take part in the fight.
Well, we won. I mean, knowing your strengths is
I won, and the rest of you followed. Listen.
yeah.
I'll kill whoever I have to kill to get off of this place. So I mean,
I do believe,
Yeah.
Norman, that you are a man after, or creature, or entity. I do not know.
hot teen,
A what?
a hot teen.
A hot teen, indeed. So, I believe that is the correct attitude to have. It's a means to an end, for sure, and I understand any distrust you may throw my way. But
Again, no mistrust towards you. Literally have no idea who you are. Not the faintest. Don't give a shit.
Look, I'm just gonna level with you. I know you think I'm just trying to worm my way out of this stuff, and like fair,
Are you not?
No, I am sometimes. But I mean, I've been told by a lot of powerful people to kill other people because it's the right thing to do. And that didn't work out great for me, as the rest of you can see, with the whole X guy. So forgive me if I'm not exactly happy to jump into this strange ghost man telling us that we need to kill this person to save the world.
I am not a ghost man. I'm totally corporeal. And he pokes himself in the chest. I am very solid.
You're focusing on the wrong part of what I just said. But all right.
Oh, it's fun though.
Yeah. At this point, Swift is like, I seem to be in a room of crazy people. Might I ask, your Vestivus, the king, the individual that ruled for hundreds of years and seemed to be doing it with an iron fist of some sort.
Oh, keep up, my spies.
Loran, your
Yes.
boyfriend's kind of dumb as
Oh,
shit.
he's not my boyfriend. No, we ended things. It's a whole... Ugh.
Yeah, but good for you.
I know. I can do better.
You can.
Indeed. And so, you're that Vestivus, and you're here now, all of a sudden, offering your help. And Vestivus kind of looks around and is like, I'm not Vestivus, yes, but when you believe I was the king who ruled with an iron fist, I was preparing the realm for this exact situation. You have the guards in the city because of what I did. You have an army that was able to propel or repel this horde of crystalline entities, which, if I'm not mistaken, are still outside your city. Now, that is the first time the majority of you are hearing that information.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What?
So he's keeping them out?
Oh.
There's somebody called Swift. You're not very quick on the uptake.
Fooled again.
we broke
God.
Wayne.
I'm gonna have to get a medieval version of the Who and just put it in the music in the background there now.
Yeah, totally.
Oh, Jesus Christ. One might say that he is definitely not a pinball wizard. So
So, can I ask a question?
you can.
Are you saying that you're the reason those red spider thingies outside are buried in the ground and not in the city attacking us?
No, I am not the reason. It seems that the timely arrival of Daz's Trevelyan here in this city, it put the attack on hold. Koval was aware of the arrival. His dimensional prison that Trevelyan was being stored in was breached, and Koval pulled his forces back because of it.
Must be the reason why they're not in the castle.
Oh, sweet Jesus.
Sorry.
So, because we went through that portal, then we kind of stopped them attacking. Ooh.
Your arrival. I don't know went Scottish there with that. Your arrival
Happens.
did indeed stop them from attacking the city. And now that I am here, the two forces that Koval, I would like to say, fears the most in Terrasmore will give him pause, for sure.
Where's Koval now?
As far as I'm aware, he's just north of here.
How many people are in this, as you said, weird pocket dimension that got created by mistake? What's the population of this world?
The entire, I do not know. I do not know the number of the entire population. Ballpark, at least, I want to say 4 million individual life forms of some sort.
Okay, and why are we like the only 20 who know about what's going on?
Because the population don't choose. Like, it is the situation. We're not going to, like, the inhabitants of Terrasmore, now that there's a war on, the people that live here are aware that there's a war of some supernatural nature. There is an army of crystalline zombies attacking. You are aware of it because you were at the front line. You were chosen by Trevelyan to be part of this.
Trevelyan's fault we're here.
Yeah.
Very much so, yes.
Which
Something I remember
he
of-
admitted to, in fairness.
Something I remember of Trevelyan, did he not say that this isn't the first time we as a group have tried this? Or
No,
is
it's not the first time that he has tried this. So he has had many adventuring groups try to do what you are doing now, but none have gotten as far as you've gotten. Some have fallen at the first hurdle, some have fallen at the second or third hurdle. You have actually
shreds, you say?
Shitty groups.
yeah, really shitty groups. Like, unbelievably
awesome.
dysfunctional. All
Especially
level one,
groups of
all level
commoners.
1 characters. Like real bad. So yeah.
How much time do you think we have? I direct at him.
It is hard to say. We must prepare for attack at any moment. The sleeping horde outside the city may rise at any time.
Great. Aratir, what do you think?
I need to prep my soldiers for battle.
Yeah, this it's going to be a hell of a first day.
Yeah, can't wait. I have more than just the group to worry about now. Now that I have taken up the mantle of captain of the guards, I have this entire city to worry about. It's on my shoulders, even more so than when we started this quest.
Swift turns to you and says, "You have the support of the council, and you have the support of the inhabitants of Terrasmore. We are here to help. It is not all on your shoulders. When we are now more free, as in since the Viceroy is gone, the bureaucracy is gone. And we can act swiftly. No pun intended.
I think for the sake of minimizing panic and uncertainty amongst our people and our city, I think we share information on a need-to-know basis swift. I think the details of Festivus and his reappearance is not pertinent to our citizens readying for an attack. Would you agree?
Swift kind of looks over at you and looks at Festivus and he's like, he would be very much a powder keg situation for sure.
Yes.
Announcing him to the grand populace as being here in the city may do one of two things. Boast of the population and give them hope, because he is a king, or was a king known for swift action. Again, no pun intended, but swift action and harsh retribution to anyone that attacked the city and its inhabitants. But also, he did rule with fear.
He did.
And Vess was like, I am standing right here.
That you know of.
I have great power at my disposal, which is at your disposal. So whatever you need me to do in order to stave off this attack, I will do. I am here to protect the city and its inhabitants. I give you my word for what it is worth.
Talasar is looking kind of pensive at the minute, but he speaks up and he says, a great philosopher once said that life needs things to live. Who are we but not the best people in this city right now to help make that true? We need to unite. We need to stop this fight from ever happening. And if we move swiftly, again, no pun intended, we can end this fight and we can bring proper peace. People who need to go home, who want to go home, and he looks at Loran and he looks at Norman, they can get to go home. We have an opportunity here.
I agree.
Let's grasp it.
We unite or we will fall.
Again, I've no issues with the whole, tackling the greater evil thing, but I don't know. If there's like 4 million people in this world and not like 20 of us know exactly what's going on.
Oh.
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 Oh,
That is a dodgy
Mid-speech
freeze
as
frame
well.
on Norman.
yeah. He looks like he's in the Rudy Giuliani on this one.
He does.
Oh no. Oh.
He's just talking. He's just talking.
That's all he's doing. He's talking.
Guys.
Right, you guys froze for
You
a brief
froze
moment.
half speech there, Laurent. It was getting good, and you were like,
Yeah,
So good. And also your freeze face, you looked like you were mid sneeze.
Oh,
and also Ryan looked like he was grasping his mini.
Yeah.
I was.
Somewhat.
He was talking.
what I was saying was, I'm just saying, like, these people have a right to know that there's an impending threat to their entire world. Keeping them in the dark is
They know, don't they? They know that there's a threat.
If we
Let me put it to you this way.
if we want to sow panic,
If you tell the entire population of the world the world is ending, you will cause chaos. Right now, the majority of the population of this entire existence is not aware that their very existence is in danger, because it is not all over the realms. There are pockets of incidents happening that all add up to a greater threat. You have seen some of them in your travels, but there are other situations that haven't been witnessed.
You're just going to let them die quietly then, and not give them any kind of a heads up.
The point of this is not to have anyone die. We are here to stop all of this.
No. Again, the optimism it's fucking lovely, but as you said yourself, there's only a slim chance of this working. So we need to accept that there is a reality where this is not going to work. And I mean, I would like to let people know. If I had lost moments and if I knew the world might end in like a week, I'm like, oh cool, I'll go see that. You know, my mum, who I haven't seen in 6 months, I better, you know, feed my cat. I better catch up with old friends. Like, people should live their last moments the way they want to live their last moments.
Loran, would you like to have to make your way to the battlefield through throngs of people running to their parents' house?
I'm sure plenty of them would want to help in the battle.
If we do things right, they won't notice anything. If we do things wrong, the thing that was going to happen right now, with or without us, will happen. So, I mean, for someone who tends to not give a shit about anyone, you chose a very strange time to get all kumbaya at us about people's dreams and wishes.
No, I just don't like when all these like higher beings are like, yes, we're all fighting our higher being god wars and we're not going to tell all the little people about it.
That's kind of what happens when gods fight.
Yeah, it sucks. No
This
offense.
happens all the time. The farmer in the field is not aware of the fight that is happening 200 miles away. He continues to farm his field, ignorant to the goings-on of the higher beings. But in the grand scheme of things, he will continue to sow his field. But if you tell this farmer that the world may end tomorrow due to the goings-on of these higher beings, what is he going to do? He's not going to run off and fight anymore. He's a farmer.
But you expect us to, despite me just being a fucking bard.
But
You're a pretty adventure-y bird.
You, again...
He could be an adventure farmer.
That is your character for campaign 2, the adventure farmer.
The adventure farmer, yes.
Oh my god. Hello, I'm Jeff, the adventure farmer. I'm out me hole.
I want to make an even more useless and obsolete character than Loran.
That would be difficult.
I know.
Would be very difficult.
I put down my plough, picked up a sword. Don't know what I'm supposed to do now.
I have no idea what's going on, but I'm here and I'm ready to go. Let's go.
Everybody just sounds like fucking Paddy McGuinness.
Yeah.
Oh, Christ.
Likey. No.
Speaking of fucking useless, oh my god, hot take.
Oh my god.
I suppose there has to be comedy for everybody, right?
I think I just picked Quavald's voice. No, I haven't. I'm here to rule the world and you better like it, right? Everyone's going to suck down on red crystals.
But that's the thing, that kind of subverts expectation.
It does.
Ryan looks lost. What's going on with Ryan's voice?
We were silently conferring.
Okay. So,
I thought we didn't have much time to do
I
this.
know. Loran has gotten very, very, very chatty. Can we move?
There's also like the fact that if you're gonna, I don't believe what's going on because I have no idea what's going on, even though you've told me. How are we gonna be able to tell how many millions of life is on this plane?
4 million.
How
We
long do you
can't
think
get
it's
it
gonna
across
take
to
convince
you,
one
Loran.
person that
What?
they're not on their place they should be, let alone 4 million?
the universe,
We're gonna be dead.
This particular plane of existence has been here for a couple of 100 years. So you're talking about a couple of generations of people that have lived here and have known nothing else. The first couple of generations were aware that they were transported to a realm that is outside of their original plane of existence. They then chose to survive and have bred and had families and lived on. So you are now in, and since the beginning of that particular point in time, Dacius Trevelyan has been trying to get a bunch of adventurers together to quell whatever's happening. Sometimes it's been certain levels of success where he's ended back the fight, but in the same instance, Vestivus was here building Terrace Moor as a kingdom, building it up as a kingdom. Then other realms, other sections of the world built up, like Hendrick's Point, with all the pirates who became traders and merchants. All of that happened over the centuries of this existence happening, the existence being. Certain individuals like Norman and Loran were transported here through different circumstances, were brought into this realm of existence, through the planes, across different planes of existence and into this world. And at this particular moment in time, it's starting to come to a head. And as Trevelyan and now Vestivus and Talasar have informed the group that things are starting to move into place, that Quaval may actually win this war. And it's at this particular moment in time you can either decide if you wish to be part of it or don't wish to be part of it, and just basically sit here and look at it all unfold. That is the choice that is in front of you now.
Well, I, for one, am going to be part of stopping Cabal. Swift,
Me too.
we need to
I'll
make...
do whatever I can do. Whatever I've been doing, I'll do better. Maybe.
Festivus. Maybe you should tell, or rather show Swift, that rather be Festivus the man who apparently ruled with an iron fist that you are also Gregor who ruled with a soft one.
Gregor.
It was
He
a
was never
talk.
distracted, good old Gregor.
Swift kind of looks and turns like, what was that again? And Festivus kind of gestures and waves his hand, and his appearance changes. And before you see this slender, meek individual dressed in a blue robe with a fur collar and a kind of a tight trimmed beard and long, wavy brown hair, and a gold circlet crown around his temple. He kind of bows his head and speaks in a softer voice towards Swift. It's like, I am King Gregor, the brother of Festivus, and I have ruled in his stead for the last 100 years. I was, by proxy, Festivus, and have led this kingdom through prosperity. So any doubts you have on Festivus, you have doubts on me, for we are the same individual. And then with a wave of his hand again, he changes back, and you see him back as Festivus. And Swift is just like wide-eyed. He's like, so you mean to tell me that you are the same individual, same person, as King Gregor that was Festivus? You ruled even though you weren't here. And Festivus kind of like nods. It is the reason why Carrick the Black was needed, but I was unaware of his corruption up until recent years. He helped me keep Tennismore alive, and it was with a very heavy heart that I discovered his deception. He kept me from this kingdom and banished the entity that was Gregor, choosing to rule in his stead, making you all believe that Gregor had been sick for the last decade or two, and pointing the city in the direction he wished it to go. By proxy, pointing in the direction he wished that Kruval wished it to go. He sent you all to Breshton to bring its downfall and to let the red menace that was this plague eke into the kingdom. I was not able to stop it, but in part you were, which is why I believe you are able to do it now. Whether you choose to be part of it is your choice. Whether you wish to sit on the sidelines or help in the very far background. But something must be done, or this entire realm will fall into what can only be described as a hell on earth.
The thing is,
That's-
realistically, even if we fail, like the way I would put it is, as I mean, I've made up my mind, because as far as I'm concerned, it's either what did you say? We've got a very short amount of time, so it's either, although we seem to be spending enough of it prattling on, so maybe, and I kind of like look at Festivus, like chop chop. But the thing is, it's either I personally die here or I die when the plane falls apart. Even if we fail, there's 4 million people on this. That's not actually that many in the grand scheme of things. So what do we have to lose? 100 planes are born and die every second. These people, whatever. If we fail, we gave it a go. Doesn't matter. 4 million deaths, they're not going to remember. So fuck them.
Well, it was about time that we got Norman's "but the buzzing of flies" speech. And I hate to say this, but I agree with you, Norman. This could be a giant stand, or it's just a blip and we tried. you know, why wait for the world to be swallowed up under our feet? I agree.
And
Let's do
regardless of the end result, and the main reason I'm taking part is because either way, I will never have to see it again. So it's a win-win, essentially. I'd just rather it be the sort of win where I am alive at the end of it.
Yeah, we'll do our best. We'll do our best for you, Norman. Really, I mean that. Really. You don't have to say anything. It's okay.
But I really like saying things.
You really like what? Saying
I
things.
really like saying. I have a lot of comments.
We been new, sis, to talk to you in your own language.
When you're coding, lit.
So Vestinus is like, if you wish for me to accompany you around the city as you make plans, I can disguise myself as somebody who can pass. I do not need to look as opulent as I look now.
Oh, you should disguise yourself as Arun. He was really cool.
I mean, could you describe this Irun character to me?
I really could.
We have not. I promise you, we do not have time, Vestus. I would just decline this particular one because I think you're going to turn into some giant body pillow. So let's just get moving.
Look, if you want me to come along, I'm allowed to have my little comforts.
Okay.
Talasar doesn't know Arun.
Oh,
No.
you should. He's wonderful.
And this sounds like a very interesting character. He seems to be much loved amongst you all. I think maybe that would be the best thing to do if I could disguise myself as whoever this Irun character is.
Yes. Okay. So he's like nearly 7 feet tall and like really fucking strong, like big. Like he could really like carry you comfortably in his big arms, and like you would feel very safe.
Okay.
And
7 feet
this
tall
goes
might
on.
be I might stand out a bit if I'm 7 feet tall.
Yeah.
Could I make it a more compact version of this individual?
Well, he is a half orc, so and he's
Oh.
one height. And
Well,
I'm
I'd say I'll do about 6.5. I'd say, and I could easily And he kind of, you see that there's a gesture of his staff, and you see his form change, and before you see not as tall, but pretty much definitely an over-buffed version of the description of Arun as Loran would see him.
Loran, that's uncannily accurate.
And you see that the half-orc form now, and the muscles seem to glisten extra special. And there's something about his smile, and his cheekbones are slightly higher, and his eyes twinkle a little bit more than your Cody and Aratir and Ogun remember.
So tired of the male gaze.
It's good. Trust me, it's pretty good. I only have one minor little thing.
Yes.
The bulge needs to be a bit more full.
The rest of us looks down. And roll a persuasion check for me, please.
I'm just going to put an arm on Talasar's shoulder because this is no chat for a cleric.
That'll be a 20.
I'm grand. I've seen worse.
No, not a natural 20. Just a 20.
God
Okay.
preserve me from future encounters with bards.
Vestinus kind of just shrugs his shoulder, and without gesturing, you just see the bulge just starts to. The cod piece very much becomes a large portion.
It was a talk.
It's a meaty fucking talk now. Vestivus now / Arun is like, I do believe I will be able to pass unnoticed in this guise. People will not
Could you do
suspect
his
me.
voice as well?
This is my voice. I do not know how
but
this
it's not a
individual
different
speaks.
voice.
What was his voice? I don't plan on speaking it on.
He was very like commanding and serious, and he was like, "Oi, you go do that," and "Oi, you go do that," and "Lauren,
Please.
stop touching my butt."
Wayne, please do it. Please do a duck impression, please.
Damn it! Say basically a lot and irregardless.
Right.
Be generally annoyed, but also really sweet somehow.
Yeah.
I really dislike the use of the word irregardless.
Yeah, live with it.
Right.
Rude, hot, not grammatically correct.
Things I do for you people.
You
I
Right.
didn't cause problems on purpose.
Right. Irregardless. Let's bleed and go, right? We're gonna go.
Yeah,
Let's go.
Oh my god.
here.
Bleed and go.
Love your
All right. Does this sound like in any way, shape, or form? Is this the way you sound?
That is perfect.
It's
Grand.
not bad.
Right.
It's not bad.
Let's go. Just fucking let's go.
I'm in, guys. This is gonna be great.
Oh, you are in the army now, my friend.
Okay, so the group kind of gathers together, and you going to start making your way? What do you want to do at this point? What's the plan here?
Okay.
Let's go find Kuval. You said he's north, right?
Swift, what have you heard of Koval's forces and of Koval himself?
Actually, I have given this information to Iran, but clearly I think it was the wrong person to give it to. But
Well, I didn't get a chance to tell them because you were all like, "Oh, look, it's Festivus."
Okay, Loran, you have the floor.
Oh no, he can tell you I wasn't listening. I was drinking wine and thinking we were going to have sex.
That checks out.
Well, and he kind of did, not so much dejected, but very tired. Swift kind of just rubs his forehead, is like, my spy network has uncovered the fact that Koval is actually camped north in the remains of Breshton, in a now newly rebuilt town or city that literally looks like a giant crystalline structure of red crystal. He is commanding his horde and forces from that base of operations. But the problem is, as Festivus has told you, the attacking armies that were here previously are still here. They are buried in the ground outside the city, waiting, dormant. They are not active in any way. We've had multiple watches on them. And Aratir, you would have remembered this from the notes of the guard, the head captain of the guard, that there is notes in the captain of the guard's journals that the armies did bury themselves, literally stopped fighting at a moment's notice, and dropped to the ground and started to tunnel, and all buried themselves deep in the ground, just before the arrival of a large silver dragon that just appeared out of the sky out of nowhere. Swift then turns and says, if you wish to travel northward to Breshton, by all means. My worry is the armies outside and what they might do if anyone tries to leave.
We deal with them first.
Their numbers were greatly diminished upon the attack. I would guess there was maybe easily 500 to 600 left, on a very rough guesstimate of what was left and what buried themselves in the ground.
Well, if we're worried about the armies waking up if somebody tries to leave, why don't we just go out through the secret tunnel that three of us have left through before?
Yeah, that way they won't see us or hear us. And then go to that place he's at.
That is an option. And he kind of Swift looks up at the wall, and I see it's one of Alduin's many secret exits and entrances into the city.
I think that'd be a good idea.
Yeah.
Because obviously, if we take him out, that's one person we have to take out, as opposed to an entire army. So it'll be quicker. And that way people can get home.
And Festivus turns, it's like, look, if you wish to go and you don't want to stay here, that's fine, right? Well, I'll fucking stay here. And,
No, you have to come.
alright, but the problem is that you have to protect the city.
And that is why I should stay.
But you're their fighter.
The monks are here to help protect the city. I can instruct the day guard.
Festivus turns to you and looks, oh, you brought the monks. Oh,
Yeah,
you brought the monks what? Doc is going to kill me.
100 strong.
Welcome, there's only one of them.
Yeah.
100 strong are currently residing in the city, ready to help protect it.
100 monks. 100 monks is worth easily 2,000 men. The city is protected.
Swift, can I leave the city in your hands as you have suggested, and I will help my friends take out Cabal?
Swift kind of looks like we are safe by the sounds of it. If there are 100 monks here now and they are fighters, matched with the gods, we can take care of ourselves. Right now, everything is done. The hordes are not moving. They are literally buried deep.
Yeah.
It is nothing we have to worry about for now. But they might become something we have to worry about. And he has like, take this, and he hands you a small disc, a cylinder, like a kind of a flat disc with what looks like a pearl in the center, and there's like runes around it. If you wish to contact me immediately, press the central section, and it is a direct line to me, and it will inform us of either your success, or if needs be, I can communicate to you through this.
Okay.
But yes, by all means, if you need to either attempt, and it is if maybe you wish to do this, by all means go, if it will mean an end to all of it. I will inform the rest of the council, and we will hold the line here as best we can.
Okay.
So Festivus turns like, well, if you want me to go with you, I can go with you.
I think we could do with your help, Festivus.
Loran has already taken his hand and is like, yeah, come on.
All right.
Can I ask, what of Trevelyan? If he's here and he knows...
Oh, fuck that guy.
It might be useful.
What's your opinion, Festivus?
I leave him here. He's not going to be any use to us on the road. He can protect them here with his paltry parlour tricks.
Even be so.
He's not worth your effort to
Where's
try and ease his bruised ego. Prick.
So where's this secret passage out of the city?
And Swift kind of just looks at you in the eye, and as he's looking directly at you, he points to the gaping hole in the ceiling, in the wall, right next to you, and he's like,
wasn't aware when we came into the
I
room.
thought you monks are meant to be a perceptive type.
That's not a painting.
Swift, don't recruit him for your spies. He's crap.
Oh, I'm no spy master.
So you look up, and on the wall, you can see there's a massive opening. Kind of it's scorched around the edges, and there's burnt sections of a wall and stuff, but clearly it's an opening into a tunnel.
But
Is there
enough
anything
about
that you-
Loran's anus.
Only for Arun.
Is there
Scorch marks, bitch.
Oh.
Ew.
Oh, sorry.
There's the name of the episode right there. Episode 13, Scorch Marks.
I'm sure your episode was doing absolutely fine until I fucking walked in from work. Sorry, everyone.
Loran, the Lord of Chaos.
Yeah.
Can I say, if we need to be quick, we can go now, or if you need to gather supplies or make any arrangements, I'm ready to go whenever.
What did the group want to do?
Ready to rock?
Me too.
I'm always ready.
Okay.
I've got all the supplies I need right here.
Do we,
Why didn't we think of this earlier? This is the
Do-
greatest Loran recruitment tool ever.
Swift, before we go,
The carrot
are
and
there,
the stick
are
approach.
there any stores of any kind of healing potions or anything that may help?
Well, we do have our apothecaries have been putting together as many potions as they can over the last week or two following the battle, but I'm sure we could
Spare two and keep the rest for should there be a fight for the larger control of the city.
Give me a few minutes, and Swift leaves quickly, heads out the door, And so the group are left there, Festivus in his room form, holding Loran's hand as the group all stand around together. Is there anything you need to do here at this point? Do you want to talk to each other about anything? Do you want to say anything? Or is you just prepping yourselves to get on the road again?
What did you say, Norman?
Said fuck no.
You've kind of covered your bases.
How far is that? The Dark Crystal.
The what?
The tower. The Dark Crystal.
The Breston. It's back up in the town of Breston. That's where it is. And the town of Breston has now been converted into this large crystalline dwelling. Think like a giant red Fortress of Solitude. That's what it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you haven't seen it yet, but that's from the description that Swift gives you. That's pretty much what it is.
I had an image of the Dark Crystal just planted in the middle of.
No,
Preston.
it's like so everything is grown up. Just give it a second.
Yeah, cool.
So we'll get there.
How long travel again? Can't remember.
Well, it's the town of Breston, so you're talking at least a couple of days. About 2 days max. 2 days max.
I need some food.
Okay.
Supplies.
Yeah.
These are all standing around, kind of just staring at each other, kind of wondering what the fuck you've got yourselves into again. Talasar kind of.
I'm gonna go to the corridor, grab a guard, and get them to inform the kitchen to send us several days of supplies. Quick, sharp.
Quick, sharp. Okay. And the guard kind of looks at you worryingly. He's like, Sheila goes, of course, Captain. And we'll do that straight away. And she rushes off, and you see her kind of go off to one side of the planning room, and she grabs one of the serving the servants and says, you just see her gesturing and pointing back towards you as you stand in the doorway, and then the servant rushes off. And Swift then returns with a small satchel and hands it to Talasar, and containing it in, you have two, one greater healing potion, one regular healing potion.
I look like you may need to pick me up. And I hand her the greater healing potion.
Aww.
That's very
And
good.
I'll hold on to the standard healing potion if that's okay.
Okay.
I feel guilty because I have full HP. We had a long rest.
Well, right now you look like death.
Oh,
right.
this is should anything happen.
Okay, gotcha.
You look like someone who could use it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Is there none for your good old friend?
You don't fucking know who I am.
Swift just gives you Swift just gives you a side eye, and then just goes like, "I wish you all well on your travels, and don't forget, keep me up to date with what is going on. And if anything happens here, I will contact you.
You can rely on me, Swift.
Thank you.
Take care of yourselves.
We will try." Then Swift kind of bows deeply and turns on his heels and leaves. As he's leaving, then he's met in the corridor, coming in the direction. A servant girl kind of holding over one shoulder a large knapsack, and she hands it over, and as you open it, it's filled with like rations and breads and meats, dried meats and cheeses and stuff like that, enough for about 3 to 4 days, and for this particular group, and hands it over. You're all prepped. You're all ready.
Yeah.
You want to hit the road?
Let's go.
Let's go.
So one by one, you clamber up into the opening of the tunnels, and you start making your way down. I take it whoever's leading the way, it doesn't matter really at this point whoever's leading the way, but just make your
I'll
way
go.
through. You go first.
Yeah.
Loran and Vestivus at the back. Loran obviously leading Vestivus by the hand. And like it's just the weirdest sight to see. In his current form, he's actually quite big and awkwardly pushes himself into the compact tunnel and sidles along. And as you all travel along for about 30 minutes, you then come out into the. It's now at this point it's about midday, and you're out into a bright, kind of early winter's morning, clear sky for the most of it. A sharp kind of sharpness of the air as you push out through a brush into a pathway that leads up into the side of the forest area, just outside the north part of Terrace Moor. You're on the road. You're making your way north to the town of Breston, where it used to be. A familiar road to you all because you have travelled this way previously. You notice that Vestivus is kind of taking it all in, not having seen this part of the realm for a very, very long time. And there does seem to be a level of awe about it. Like you see it even in his Arun form, the look on his face is surprise and like he's home. and there is a joy to him as well. Happily still holding Loran's hand as he walks along, being led, with no issue whatsoever, because he's just so distracted by this forest and road that he remembers so well, but hasn't seen in a very long time. Is there anything the group want to do as you travel?
I'm going to talk to Talasar about his adventures.
There's not much to say.
Yeah, we're going to just kind of swap philosophies for a while, and he's gonna broaden my mind a bit about what else would happen.
Talasar, is there anything you want to say to Cody, or is there anything you want to do at this point?
Is there just what troubles your mind, Cody?
Nothing really. I just I feel like I've been forced to become a slightly more thoughtful person than I would have liked to have been.
Growth.
Yeah. It's kind of forced on me though, but I like it. It's nice feeling useful, despite the fact that like we are literally kind of tools in this game. It feels nice to have a cause.
Well, having a united cause can offer a way to give back to a society that might benefit.
Yeah. I wonder will they ever know what we've done if we do it right.
But you'll know.
Yeah.
That's all that should matter.
That's
all
true.
that matters for me anyway.
I like philosophy too. Whenever I see Norman and Loran being disrespectful, I just think a great philosopher once wrote, naughty, very naughty. That's what I think. And,
Just
I think we can all relate. I think we can relate a lot. Also, I'm the worst.
The next, just the next time Loran or Norman say something, just either fire back and say something along the lines of that their mother looks or is a hamster and their father smells of elderberries, or just kind of quietly nod and just say that in your head and let it pass.
It's not bad advice.
Cheers,
Cheers, Talasar.
Cody.
Cody, as she's talking to Talasar, just throw roll an attack there for me, Loran.
No, don't actually.
Okay.
Oh, go on!
All right, fuck it. Hang on.
What are you doing?
Just throw a rock at her.
I will.
Wait a second, let her roll the attack first. Roll.
Yeah, but I'm able to. What's the as a reaction? I'm able to do deflect missiles.
Yeah, let's see how it happens.
I just need to find my thing. Hang on. Throwing? Is that a thing?
No, just roll a d20 for me.
Just a pure D20?
Yeah, roll a d20. This is not. It's not. Obviously, it's not done with a heavy intensive damage.
No.
You're just
Don't encourage him.
12.
12.
And Talasar, your reaction is just to deflect missiles?
Well, it's actually only if it attacks me.
Okay, great. But as a reactionary thing, so what we're going to do here is this is going to be a story element, okay? So, as Talasar is dispensing wisdom to Cody, you just see him flick his extendable bow staff, just flicks in his hand, and just swings through the air, and you just see Cody barely sees it. Actually, roll a perception there, Cody, and see what you see.
Well, I've got uncanny dodge if I see her, but I don't think I do I?
Well, roll a perception to see if you do.
Okay. No, sorry, wrong one. Sorry, I rolled performance. Let me see. Okay, perception. Oh, bitch! 26!
26. So while Cody is listening to Talasar in the same motion, in a sense of chivalry, flicks open the staff. As the staff flicks out, Cody naturally just reacts and just twists and twirls, and like you just see this like snake movement as she does
this dance.
Just this like whoop, and the rock just sails past through the air, and Talasar flicks it and hits it with his staff as it just flips off into a bush. So yeah, that happened.
I'm going to do this gesture. I'm just going to brush my shoulder off and keep walking.
Oh my god. Like, Arun, you need to stop throwing things. I know you're excited to be out on the road, but that's just so rude.
You do realise my name is not Arun, really.
Well,
Like I am Vestivus. Whoever this
Yeah,
room, but
you
it's
walk around
it
saying
is-
that, and telling
this
people.
is so I'm like moving it incognito. So it's not a case of
Yeah. Well, yeah, but if people ask you your name, you can't exactly say Vestivus.
yeah, but you know who I am.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just getting into it.
Oh, okay, yeah.
For the incognito.
Delusion.
Aratier
Convince yourself.
has been like following up the rear and
Hey,
just
Whoa.
what witness all of this, and she's just shaking her head. She's like, really?
It's like
Dealing with it after all this time?
Hey, at least we're moving. This is
Vestivus.
progress.
small
Vestivus kind of
pictures.
looks around at the group in a severe level of dysfunction. It's like, seriously, like the Trevelyan picked the most crappiest individuals to not get as far as you people have gotten. Like,
Yeah.
wow. I mean, from what I'd heard, the tales of your heroship and who you've taken down so far was impressive. But this is a bleeding joke for some parts of it. But here we
Well,
are.
Fun along the way. You can't all be serious all the time.
Well, this is true, and I have been stuck in a cave in the north for the last 200 years, so this is a bit of fun, I guess.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
I
it's
broke up with my
dysfunction makes it
boyfriend.
work.
We all have struggles.
Yeah, I suppose. So the rest of the day goes hopefully without incident, and you make your way into the evening. Ogan?
I believe I should say I did know a family of hamsters, and they were nice, very very nice, and they didn't smell of elderberries. Just to say, since we brought that up earlier, but
Yeah,
anyway,
that was very rude of you, Monk.
yeah, in
Yeah,
fairness,
you
like
insult
you know,
Logan's friends.
they're great mothers, by the way. I should say that family was well looked after. Just you know,
What's Norman making of all this? Norman is just chilling underneath the shades.
I think I'm actually at the front of the party at this
Yeah.
stage.
Okay.
So I'm not really I'm not listening to any of this.
Grant. That's pretty
Completely
normal.
nonchalant.
So the rest of the day and into the evening goes without really incident, and it's time to make camp at the side of the road. You do find kind of an incline into the road, and underneath a set of trees at the side of the forest that gives a bit of shade and cover for the evening to make your camp.
Not enough shade given already today.
There seems to
I
be a
was
lot of
going
shade.
to say,
A lot of shade.
Not
So you set up camp for the evening. Who's taking the watch, if anyone?
I'll take the watch.
Yeah. RT are
Well-
going into the first watch.
the two amigos.
Cool. So to expedite it so I need both of you to roll roll d20 for me.
Okay.
14.
14. Yeah. Sorry, I should have said roll it. This is a perception check. Sorry, my bad.
Perception check.
My bad.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
Well, then it's
Perception.
13.
13, that's fine.
19.
19. The evening goes by. You hear a couple of rustlings of creatures in the forest. There's nobody on the road at this stage, because nobody's really heading to Terracemoor, particularly via this path, because Breshton is no longer has transport between to and from Terracemoor. You're into your second day of travel now. You all make your way up. You get up in the morning time. You make your way just to expedite this a bit, to make it go a bit quicker. You're up. You're on the road again. 1 sec now. Another day's travel ahead. Again, there's very little on the road. The day is still clear. There's a bit of hazy rain halfway through the day. Nothing else seems to kind of pique your interest as the day goes on. If you all roll perception checks for me, please.
All of us.
Yeah, everyone.
5.
Oh, not one.
Not one, Jesus.
Oh,
22.
22.
I got 11, which considering I've got +7 to perception, that's shocking.
Jesus. Moran, what'd you get?
8.
8. So, taking up the front of the group at this point, I'm actually going to roll for Vestus. This has got 18. Okay. So, both Vestivus, who is at the back, but has keen perception, and then Talasar at the front, you look off in the distance, Talasar, and you can see that there is a red haze, even in the late kind of evening light. This kind of dark red haze is kind of off in the distance, about another half a day's travel. It's coming, well, not even a half day, a couple of hours travel actually, because you've made good time because you haven't been hindered by anything on the road.
Is it the secular haze? Sorry.
It's all right. It's not a second haze. So you look off, and there's like this kind of bright, a dark red haze off in the horizon, and you know that it definitely isn't the sun because the sun is off in a different direction setting, and this is kind of overpowering the sky. Another couple of hours travel, you now are cresting off the top of the hill, and in the distance you can make out the shape of what used to be the town of Breshton. You all look as you all kind of crest the top of this hill and stand in a line as you view your destination in front of you. Large, dark, red, crystalline shards pierce through the horizon as they all cross over, and you see this bright, glowing, red mass of crystal that has enveloped the remains of Breshton. You see large tendrils of energy shooting across the sky, arcing between the tips of the tops of these crystalline structures. It's ominous, it's foreboding, and that is your destination. It lies ahead of you. And that is where we're going to end this month's episode of Pubcast, ladies and gentlemen.
Woo!
Thank you to all the players. Thank you to our sponsors, Dublin City Comics. Check them out at dublincitycomics.ie. Don't forget to put in your answer to the question of what is the name of the main character of Jorge Salvatore's novels. It's the Drow character, if that helps. And you could be in a chance to win this book of Icewind Dale, The Rime of the Frost Maiden. Congratulations to our two winners of the Descent into Avernus book and the Scores About the Wildmount. We will reach out to you via socials, and we will get them out to you as ASAP in the post. This has been Pubcast Plays Dungeons & Dragons. I've been your DM. These have been the players. Thank you for tuning in, and we will hopefully see you back here next month for the next episode, where we will continue our story as we descend into the remains of Breshton. Thank you.
Woo!
Good night.